who've come out to cast their vote. And I want to bring in Sagai Raj, who's joining us live from Salem. Why Salem? Because that's where in Edapadi, you'll see EPS coming out to cast his vote. This is a do-or-die battle for EPS. Let's be very, very clear that for the AIADMK, they're going to have to prove their mettle. EPS will have to once again reassert his leadership. And if he doesn't manage to perform, if the AIADMK doesn't pull off a win here, he's going to be in dire straits. But let me take this over to Sagai. Sagai, good morning. Much like Chennai, are we seeing people queue up early in the morning to cast their vote? When is EPS expected?
Kalai Vanakkam Akshita. I am here at Silvapalayam where opposition party leader Edapadi Palaniswamy is all set to cast his vote, and you can see that people are queued up, and especially senior citizens are waiting in their line to get their turn to cast their vote. And you can see here senior citizens started to come as early as 7 a.m. and security has been beefed up in and around Silvapalayam where opposition party leader Edapadi Palaniswamy will come anytime now to cast his vote along with his family members. And remember that Chief Election Commissioner of Tamil Nadu is expecting that there will be more voters than the previous time in the state of Tamil Nadu, and close to 1.06 EVM machines have been deployed across the state, and even 1.2, that is 1,20,000 police personnel and 1,35,000 government employees have been deployed to take care of the elections across the state.
Okay, so in Salem, Sagai Raj will get us those images when EPS comes in to cast his vote. As we track all of the updates coming in right now from our reporters early in the morning, we've got, in fact, all of the superstars, some of the players, the big political players coming out to cast their vote. We're just about a few minutes away from Rajinikanth also going ahead and casting his vote. But this is a crucial election for the DMK and for the AIADMK, because the two Dravidian giants this time are seeing the entry of a political party that's a force to reckon with in superstar Vijay. He's going to be casting his vote later today as well. So expect that to be a big show of strength. If you remember, in 2021, Vijay, when there was all of this suspense about whether he's going to be entering politics or not, Vijay had in fact taken a cycle ride all the way to the polling booth, and the colors of the cycle, what he was wearing, all of that, I remember, was a big talking point. From that to now, 5 years later, where it's very clear that Vijay is contesting elections, you can only imagine what kind of a show of strength it will be by Vijay. Fans already gathered in large numbers. You saw that with Ajit as well. The superstar culture in Tamil Nadu is something that we see very often play out on a polling day. That these leaders, that these stars who come out to cast their vote, what happens is, of course, that you see then huge crowds gather to just catch a glimpse of them. And so there's chaos in many of these polling booths as a result. What we're also showing right now on our screens is some of the big leaders and the big battles to watch out for. One of those is of Karaikudi, where NTK Chief Seemane is also fighting. And in Karaikudi, it's a four-faced contest, because you've got the Congress that's very strong there. The Chidambaram stronghold is Karaikudi. So Congress is strong. The NTK is fielded a strong face in Seeman. Then you've got the TVK, another factor, and then the AIADMK, which has actually gone ahead and given the seat to the ally, the AMMK. Again, a very strong face who's been posted there. So these are some of the big battles that we're watching out for. And numbers on your screens shows you what 2021 looked like. The AIADMK at 75, that's with their allies. On their own, they're at about 60. So the AIADMK really hoping to up the ante this time, ensure that their numbers go up. They cited anti-incumbency as the result that led to those 2021 numbers. So this time around, they've been going all out in the campaign. You've got EPS, who's been campaigning for the last many months, focusing largely on corruption, focusing on law and order, because these are the issues essentially that's led to a big political showdown. But ultimately, and the last 1 month that I've spent in Tamil Nadu, ultimately this election is anyone's at this point. It could go either way, courtesy Vijay, and no clarity really on whose votes he'll really cut into, whose votes he will dent. And then you have these images that have come in through the night of massive crowds at bus stands, at people, thousands of them trying to get to their polling stations, trying to get to their natives to ensure that they can cast their vote. All of those images also has led to endless speculation on which way this election could go. Are these youngsters who are flocking to their natives to cast their vote for Vijay? Is it a vote for change, or is it a vote for constant? We're going to be putting out those images as well for you from the packed bus stands of Tamil Nadu to show you the kind of craze right now and how people are doing everything they can to reach their natives to cast their vote, which is a good sign. Away from the politicking, away from what political messaging it involves, ultimately it also means that we could see a very, very healthy voter turnout. And in a state like Tamil Nadu, the voter turnout has always been at 70% or so. With SIR, which, by the way, I know has been a huge controversy in Bengal, in Tamil Nadu, it's actually led to 98 lakh voters being removed from the voter list. That's the largest ever, much more than Bengal, much more than any other state. And yet you've not seen much of a political conversation around that. But because of that, you could also see the numbers changing in the sense that you could see the voter turnout going up, because we've seen an impact of that already in Puducherry. We've seen an impact already of that in Assam, in Kerala as well. Those are some of the images from yesterday from the Chennai airport of people returning to their natives to cast their vote. And even as we get you all of these images and of the bus stands from through the night, which hopefully we'll have out on our screens very soon, we will give you a sense of really the excitement of people to cast their vote. Okay, as we get you all the latest updates, so let's bring it back to the images of people casting their vote and showing you really the kind of frenzy already at polling booths, because superstars have lined up to cast their vote early in the morning. And that's Khushbu Sundar with her full family. Came early in the morning to cast their vote in Chennai. See Sundar fighting it out this time in Madurai Central. So right after this, the family, we understand, will be headed there. But let's bring your attention to our election intelligence dashboard right now to give you a sense of really the battles to watch out for in Tamil Nadu in this election. Now, of the 234 seats that are up for grabs in Tamil Nadu, I just want to first take a look quickly at the tally of what the 2021 election looked like, where you had more or less the map of Tamil Nadu painted red. Red and green, but largely red, and that's courtesy the DMK alliance leading strongly, 159 seats. So they scored a comfortable majority. As far as the AIADMK and its allies were concerned, they were at 75. But let me take you through, in fact, some of the key candidates to watch out for in this particular election, and the ones who will perhaps also be the most watched out for. We'll begin, of course, with Vijay, who's fighting from 2 seats in Perambur as well as in Trichy East. This is one to watch out for. Perambur is in Chennai, North Chennai, just about 10 minutes away, by the way, from where Chief Minister Stalin is contesting from Coimbatore. But why has he chosen Perambur? Because of really the breakdown of the people and the fact that you've got a strong minority population and Anglo-Christian community that's very strong in Perambur. R.D. Shekhar is the DMK MLA currently, the sitting MLA, and for him it's going to be an uphill task as well. But we do know that the DMK has been doing everything they can to kind of ensure a win in that particular seat of Perambur and defeat Vijay. 10 minutes away, like I said, is the seat of Coimbatore, the stronghold of the DMK. MK Stalin is up against Santana Krishna, and this is not expected to be much of a battle. Coimbatore is a stronghold for the DMK, so no real challenge there. Similarly for Udinidhi Stalin in Chepauk as well, not really going to be an uphill task. But these are high-profile seats, high-profile candidates, and I will highlight that the first 5 are all from Chennai. Thousand Lights, Mylapore, Cheppok, Kolattur, Perambur, all Chennai seats. So the Chennai battle, which is what I was referring to, is very, very interesting. Sri Perambuduru, you have Selva Perandagai, who's the Tamil Nadu Congress chief. The other one that I was speaking of Vijay, is in Trichy East. Perambur is the first seat, Trichy East the other. He's up against Inigo Irdiyaraj. Again, this is a very interesting battle. Why? Because of the fact that Trichy East, Vijay is chosen where you have minority consolidation. That minority consolidation helped Inigo Irdiyaraj in 2021, which is how he managed to seal a decisive victory. So this time around, Irdiyaraj, will he manage to hold on to his stronghold of Trichy East, or with the entry of a high-profile personality like Vijay, will that change? Inigo Irdiyaraj is someone who is a strong man of the area, so you can't completely dismiss him as well. I just want to also focus on the Kongu belt, which is West Tamil Nadu. So there in Coimbatore, you've got Coimbatore North, Coimbatore South, both very interesting battles. In Coimbatore North, Vanati Srinivasan, the giant slayer of 2021 who defeated Kamal Haasan for the BJP. Remember that she did that in Coimbatore South. So her seat has been shifted from Coimbatore South to Coimbatore North this time. She's taking on Senthamil Selvan. I've spoken to Senthamil Selvan as well when I was in Coimbatore. He is someone who's been given a ticket for the first time, but is counting on a Senthil Balaji factor. So that is crucial, because if you look at really Coimbatore North, that's another very, very interesting battle. Coimbatore South, I mean, where you have Senthil Balaji up against Amman Arjunan. And there have been images that have also come in from Coimbatore South of gold studs, of gold nose pins, of gold earrings being given out to voters, of cash being distributed to voters. So there's no doubt that as far as the Coimbatore battle is concerned, that's also very, very crucial, because it's a high-stakes battle, and that's very clear, unfortunately, in the kind of corruption, the kind of money that's being pumped into the election. So that's what the big faces really look like in this particular election. But all right, on our screens, the images of Edappadi Palaniswamy with his family coming out to cast his vote. This is in his stronghold. If you've ever wondered why he's called Edappadi Palaniswamy, Edappadi is the name of his seat, and that's his stronghold essentially. He's contesting from Edappadi. So much like a Pinarayi Vijay, where Pinarayi is his stronghold, Edappadi Palaniswamy, the name actually comes from his seat of Edappadi. And that's where he is right now, all set to cast his vote. As always, the ever-smiling politician that EPS is, looking confident, walking through with his security and his family there, casting his vote. Let me bring in Sagaraj, who is live from that very location. Saga, it's over to you.
Absolutely. Ever-smiling Edappadi Palaniswamy, along with his family members, is walking towards Silvapalayam polling booth. Remember, it is just 50 meters away from his residence, and you can see his wife and son and son-in-law, everybody are walking along with him to exercise their franchise here at the polling booth. And we can see that he is confident, he is smiling, and all his family members are accompanying him to exercise their franchise. And if you notice that the security has been beefed up in and around Silvapalayam, and a contingent of media has been waiting early in the morning, as early as 6:30, to get a glimpse of him. And people are also on the streets waiting for him to cast the vote. And thereafter, probably there might be more people who might walk in. And you can see in the frame, former Chief Minister and leader of opposition Edappadi Palaniswamy and his family members are walking along with him to the polling booth. And you can see these are the family members here, his wife and daughter and son-in-law and son, who are accompanying him to exercise their franchise early in the morning.
Okay, so the images are on our screens there of EPS making his way in to cast his vote. This is an extremely, extremely important election for the AIADMK, for EPS. It will essentially seal the deal for him as someone who is, in fact, the leader of the party of AIADMK, a party that's been rather troubled for the last many years, but has cemented its place, and EPS himself cementing his place as the leader of the AIADMK. But that stands threatened if he doesn't manage to win this election. From 2016, from in fact 2016, when he's been in the helm after Jayalalitha's passing, and the months thereafter when he emerged as the leader of the party, the AIADMK has actually had very little to actually celebrate in terms of electoral performances, besides a couple of bipole victories. As far as every election is concerned, the AIADMK has simply not been able to pull up their socks and perform in the manner that they did under Jayalalitha, under Amma. And that's been a huge challenge, really, for the AIADMK. And so EPS will have to prove his mettle. You can see him walking there with a photo of Jayalalitha in his pocket, standard for politicians in Tamil Nadu to carry a picture of the politicians that they revere, that they consider their idol, in their pockets. So you'll see DMK politicians today with images of Stalin, most AIADMK politicians with pictures of EPS. EPS himself has a picture of Jayalalitha. But it is that legacy shadow, essentially, that he has to live up to, which is the challenge for EPS right now, that electorally, the AIADMK is simply not being able to get their act together. If you look at the 2021 elections, or even for that matter, the 2024 elections, where not just did the AIADMK not win a single seat, but they even lost their deposit in about 8 seats. So that's very telling of the AIADMK and how they've kind of suffered a credibility hit as far as elections go, which is why this election is very, very important. These are images of EPS right now casting his vote. We'll stand by for that moment when he shows off his inked finger and get you those images as well. But I was talking about the Coimbatore battle, and I'll get a quick update from Shibimolo on what's happening in the Congo belt as well. That's a very, very important area, a vote base for the AIADMK, for the NDA. So Shibi, good morning. We've been seeing all sorts of chatter from Coimbatore, Shibi, of gold being distributed, of cash being distributed, of busts by officials. So there's been a lot of, talk and chaos that's played out, controversy in Coimbatore.
Well, exactly, Akshada. In fact, from the time we've landed today, we've been trying to the locals here, and one of the allegations that they've all raised is regarding the money that's been flowing to this area, because this area, like you pointed out, is a very important area for the AIADMK, and we've seen the DMK by bringing in Senthil Balaji trying to, make inroads into that AIADMK vote bank. We are here at Gauntapalayam, where K. Annamale, the BJP former state president, is expected to come and cast his vote. You can see long queues here from the time we reached here by around 6:45. From then on, we're seeing long queues here. Outside this polling booth. This is at the PSG College of Arts and Science. Gauntapalayam is the constituency which has been won by the AIADMK for the last many years. This time, last time the DMK contested. This time, the DMK has given the seat to the Congress. So, AIADMK, like you pointed out, trying to retain all their strong bastions, because, like we have known that with a new player like Vijay, there have been political observers who are saying that, if he's going to cut votes of the anti-incumbency votes, then that's going to be the NDA's, AIADMK-led NDA's votes that will be cut, is what the political observers have said during this whole election season. You can see long queues of women, very interesting, from since morning. When we reached here, it was not the men's queue, but the women's queue that was full since the time the polling began. All of them coming in huge numbers, not just here, even yesterday evening at the Coimbatore bus stand also, we saw long queues, people coming in huge numbers to their hometown to cast their vote. This is also very important IT belt. So outside the IT parks also, we saw long crowds waiting for buses to go back to their hometown and cast their vote. So very interesting scenes across the state, especially in Coimbatore, a very important belt, like you pointed out.
Yeah, all right. Shibi getting us those details from Coimbatore. I'll just bring our viewers' attention to the images coming in right now. That's Tamilisai Soundararajan casting her vote in Chennai. She is in the fray in Mylapore constituency. So she is there casting her vote with her family as well. Crucial election for her and for the BJP. They've got 27 seats that they're fighting in. What are these images on our screens? These are, in fact, from last night, where you had huge crowds trying to catch buses to their native. There's an allegation that locals have put forth that buses have been stopped, that they're not being allowed to get to their native places, and there's a huge controversy, chatter over that. These were hundreds of people from Coimbatore sitting at the bus stands, unable to get to their natives. All hell broke loose last night. And so there's been a lot of political controversy over this, with the likes of TVK alleging that it's intentional, that people are not being allowed intentionally to get to their native to cast their vote. And look at those scenes. This is from late last night, where hundreds and thousands of people gathered at bus stands trying to leave, get buses, but drivers refuse to budge, saying very clearly, no, we will not take our buses out, we will not move out today. So regularly scheduled buses, even those didn't leave. So as we get you those details of these scenes, and this is not just in Coimbatore, by the way, these are images we're seeing right now in several parts of Tamil Nadu.
Sir.
EPS making his way towards the polling booth. You can see the media forming a ring around him, trying to get his reaction as he makes his way to the polling booth. But like I said, oh, there you have it. He's showing his inked finger, so he's already cast his vote. He's already cast his vote. No prizes for guessing exactly who he's voted for. But as he makes his way out, he's expected to speak to the media. So we'll just stand by for that reaction from the challenger right now in Tamil Nadu politics. EPS there getting set to speak to the media. You know, you have to give it to him, irrespective of the political challenge or what's happening. He's always very affable as a politician, someone who's always approachable. You can see how he's trying as much as he can to cooperate with journalists, always smiling, always someone who's known to be, you know, approachable as a leader. A bit of chaos, but we're going to hopefully get a reaction from EPS very, very soon. On the right of your screens, there are images that we are continuing to track very closely of leaders coming in to cast their vote. Tamilisai Soundarajan, as I told you, has just cast her vote, but we're standing by right now for EPS's reaction. Huge media contingent that's present there in Salem. This is in Edapadi of Salem, where he's cast his vote. He is someone who's come from a farming background, and that's something he shows off every single time about how he's risen the ranks of AIADMK and contrasts it to the DMK to say that, you know, I didn't have everything handed to me in a platter. But irrespective, huge challenge for him to prove his leadership as well. Those are some of the images from yesterday from the Chennai airport of people returning to their natives to cast their vote. And even as we get you all of these images and of the bus stands from through the night, which hopefully we'll have out on our screens very soon, we will give you a sense of really the excitement of people to cast their vote. Okay, as we get you all the latest updates, so let's bring it back to the images of people casting their vote and showing you really the kind of frenzy already at polling booths, because superstars have lined up to cast their vote early in the morning. And that's Kushbu Sundar with her full family, came early in the morning to cast their vote in Chennai. See Sundar fighting it out this time in Madurai Central. So right after this, the family, we understand, will be headed there. But let's bring your attention to our election intelligence dashboard right now to give you a sense of really the battles to watch out for in Tamil Nadu in this election. Now, of the 234 seats that are up for grabs in Tamil Nadu, I just want to first take a look quickly at the tally of what the 2021 election looked like, where you had more or less the map of Tamil Nadu painted red and green, but largely red, and that's courtesy the DMK alliance leading strongly, 159 seats. So they scored a comfortable majority. As far as the AIADMK and its allies were concerned, they were at 75. But let me take you through, in fact, some of the key candidates to watch out for in this particular election, and the ones who will perhaps also be the most watched out for. We'll begin, of course, with Vijay, who's fighting from 2 seats in Perambur as well as in Trichy East. This is one to watch out for. Perambur is in Chennai, North Chennai, just about 10 minutes away, by the way, from where Chief Minister Stalin is contesting from Coimbatore. But why has he chosen Perambur? Because of really the breakdown of the people and the fact that you've got a strong minority population and Anglo-Christian community that's very strong in Perambur. R.D. Shekhar is the DMK MLA currently, the sitting MLA, and for him it's going to be an uphill task as well. But we do know that the DMK has been doing everything they can to kind of ensure a win in that particular seat of Perambur and defeat Vijay. 10 minutes away, like I said, is the seat of Kolattur, the stronghold of the DMK. MK Stalin is up against Santana Krishna, and this is not expected to be much of a battle. Kolattur is a stronghold for the DMK, so no real challenge there. Similarly for Udinidhi Stalin in Chepauk as well, not really going to be an uphill task. But these are high-profile seats, high-profile candidates, and I will highlight that the first 5 are all from Chennai. Thousand Lights, Mylapore, Chepauk, Kolattur, Perambur, all Chennai seats. So the Chennai battle, which is what I was referring to, is very, very interesting. Sri Perambuduru, you have Selva Perandagai, who is the Tamil Nadu Congress chief. The other one that I was speaking of Vijay, is in Trichy East. Perambur is the first seat, Trichy East the other. He's up against Inigo Irdiyaraj. Again, this is a very interesting battle. Why? Because of the fact that Trichy East, Vijay is chosen where you have minority consolidation. That minority consolidation helped Inigo Irdiyaraj in 2021, which is how he managed to seal a decisive victory. So this time around, Irdiyaraj, will he manage to hold on to his stronghold of Trichy East, or with the entry of a high-profile personality like Vijay, will that change? Inigo Irdiyaraj is someone who is a strong man of the area, so you can't completely dismiss him as well. I just want to also focus on the Kongu belt, which is West Tamil Nadu. So there in Coimbatore, you've got Coimbatore North, Coimbatore South, both very interesting battles. In Coimbatore North, Vanati Srinivasan, the giant slayer of 2021 who defeated Kamal Haasan for the BJP. Remember that she did that in Coimbatore South. So her seat has been shifted from Coimbatore South to Coimbatore North this time. She's taking on Senthamir Selvan. I've spoken to Senthamir Selvan as well when I was in Coimbatore. He is someone who's been given a ticket for the first time, but is counting on a Senthil Balaji factor. So that is crucial, because if you look at really Coimbatore North, that's another very, very interesting battle. Coimbatore South, I mean, where you have Senthil Balaji up against Amman Arjunan. And there have been images that have also come in from Coimbatore South of gold studs, of gold nose pins, of gold earrings being given out to voters, of cash being distributed to voters. So there's no doubt that as far as the Coimbatore battle is concerned, that's also very, very crucial, because it's a high-stakes battle, and that's very clear, unfortunately, in the kind of corruption, the kind of money that's being pumped into the election. So that's what the big faces really look like in this particular election. But all right, on our screens, the images of Edappadi Palaniswamy with his family coming out to cast his vote. This is in his stronghold. If you've ever wondered why he's called Edappadi Palaniswamy, Edappadi is the name of his seat, and that's his stronghold essentially. He's contesting from Edappadi. So much like a Pinarayi Vijayan, where Pinarayi is his stronghold, Edappadi Palaniswamy, the name actually comes from his seat of Edappadi. And that's where he is right now, all set to cast his vote. As always, the ever-smiling politician that EPS is, looking confident, walking through with his security and his family there, casting his vote. Let me bring in Sagaraj, who is live from that very location. Saga, it's over to you.
Absolutely. Ever smiling, Edappadi Palaniswamy, along with his family members, is walking towards Silvapalayam polling booth. Remember, it is just 50 meters away from his residence, and you can see his wife and son and son-in-law, everybody are walking along with him to exercise their franchise here at the polling booth. And we can see that he is confident, he is smiling, and all his family members are accompanying him to exercise their franchise. And if you notice that the security has been beefed up in and around Silvapalayam, and a contingent of media has been waiting early in the morning, as early as 6:30, to get a glimpse of him. And people are also on the streets waiting for him to cast the vote. And thereafter, probably there might be more people who might walk in. And you can see in the frame, former Chief Minister and Leader of Opposition Edappadi Palaniswamy and his family members are walking along with him to the polling booth. And you can see these are the family members here, his wife and daughter and son-in-law and son, who are accompanying him to exercise their franchise early in the morning.
Okay, so the images are on our screens there of EPS making his way in to cast his vote. This is an extremely, extremely important election for the AIADMK, for EPS. It will essentially seal the deal for him as someone who is, in fact, the leader of the party of AIADMK, a party that's been rather troubled for the last many years, but has cemented its place, and EPS himself cementing his place as the leader of the AIADMK. But that stands threatened if he doesn't manage to win this election from 2016, from in fact 2016 when he's been in the helm after Jayalalitha's passing, and the months thereafter when he emerged as the leader of the party, the AIADMK has actually had very little to actually celebrate in terms of electoral performances, besides a couple of bipole victories. As far as every election is concerned, the AIADMK has simply not been able to pull up their socks and perform in the manner that they did under Jayalalitha, under Amma. And that's been a huge challenge really for the AIADMK. And so EPS will have to prove his mettle. You can see him walking there with a photo of Jayalalitha in his pocket, standard for politicians in Tamil Nadu to carry a picture of the politicians that they revere, that they consider their idol, in their pockets. So you'll see DMK politicians today with images of Stalin, most AIADMK politicians with pictures of EPS. EPS himself has a picture of Jayalalitha. But it is that legacy shadow, essentially, that he has to live up to, which is the challenge for EPS right now, that electorally, the AIADMK is simply not being able to get their act together. If you look at the 2021 elections, or even for that matter, the 2024 elections, where not just did the AIADMK not win a single seat, but they even lost their deposit in about 8 seats. So that's very telling of the AIADMK and how they've kind of suffered a credibility hit as far as elections go, which is why this election is very, very important. These are images of EPS right now casting his vote. We'll stand by for that moment when he shows off his inked finger and get you those images as well. But I was talking about the Coimbatore battle, and I'll get a quick update from Shibimolo on what's happening in the Congo belt as well. That's a very, very important area, a vote base for the AIADMK, for the NDA. So Shibi, good morning. We've been seeing all sorts of chatter from Coimbatore, Shibi, of gold being distributed, of cash being distributed, of busts by officials. So there's been a lot of, talk and chaos that's played out, controversy in Coimbatore.
Well, exactly, Akshay. In fact, from the time we've landed here, we've been trying to the locals here, and one of the allegations that they've all raised is regarding the money that's been flowing to this area, because this area, like you pointed out, is a very important area for the AIADMK, and we've seen the DMK by bringing in Senthil Balaji trying to, make inroads into that AIADMK vote bank. We are here at Gauntapalayam, where K. Annamale, the BJP former state president, is expected to come and cast his vote. You can see long queues here from the time we have reached here. We reached here by around 6:45. From then on, we're seeing long queues here. Outside this polling booth. This is at the PSG College of Arts and Science. Gauntapalayam is the constituency where which has been won by the AIADMK for the last many years. This time, last time the DMK contested. This time, the DMK has given the seat to the Congress. So, AIADMK, like you pointed out, trying to retain all their strong bastions, because, like we have known that with a new player like Vijay, there have been political observers who are saying that, if he's going to cut votes of the anti-incumbency votes, then that's going to be the NDAs, AIADMK-led NDAs votes that will be cut, is what the political observers have said during this whole election season. You can see long queues of women, very interesting, from since morning. When we reached here, it was not the men's queue, but the women's queue that was full since the time the polling began. All of them coming in huge numbers, not just here, even yesterday evening at the Coimbatore bus stand also, we saw long queues, people coming in huge numbers to their hometown to cast their vote. This is also very important IT belt. So outside the IT parks also, we saw long crowds waiting for buses to go back to their hometown and cast their vote. So very interesting scenes across the state, especially in Coimbatore, a very important belt, like you pointed out.
Yeah, all right. Shibi getting us those details from Coimbatore. I'll just bring our viewers' attention to the images coming in right now. That's Tamilisai Soundararajan casting her vote in Chennai. She is in the fray in Mylapore constituency. So she is there casting her vote with her family as well. Crucial election for her and for the BJP. They've got 27 seats that they're fighting in. What are these images on our screens? These are, in fact, from last night, where you had huge crowds trying to catch buses to their native. There's an allegation that locals have put forth that buses have been stopped, that they're not being allowed to get to their native places, and there's a huge controversy, chatter over that. These were hundreds of people from Coimbatore sitting at the bus stands, unable to get to their natives. All hell broke loose last night. And so there's been a lot of political controversy over this, with the likes of TVK alleging that it's intentional, that people are not being allowed intentionally to get to their native to cast their vote. And look at those scenes. This is from late last night, where hundreds and thousands of people gathered at bus stands trying to leave, get buses, but drivers refuse to budge, saying very clearly, no, we will not take our buses out, we will not move out today. So regularly scheduled buses, even those didn't leave. So as we get you as the CM candidate, and since then they very much have, they've repeatedly said that under the leadership of EPS, under the leadership of AIADMK, we will move ahead and we will work in Tamil Nadu. So let's be very clear that the BJP plays second fiddle in Tamil Nadu to the AIADMK. It's the AIADMK that's leading this alliance. It's EPS who is the face. But on your screens, more leaders coming in to cast their vote. That's L. Murugan. I was telling you about him fighting in Avinashi constituency. His vote, however, is in Chennai. But the BJP has made it very clear that all union ministers, all those Delhi-based leaders will also be brought back to the state when there is a need. It's a constant formula that they've used, and in Tamil Nadu no different. For L. Murugan, this is a battle that goes beyond just any electoral performance, but also about proving his mettle as a Rajya Sabha MP to also ensure that he can win an election for the BJP, and that too at a time in Avinashi, where he's up against two newcomers, two 28-year-old women. So it's a very interesting battle. I remember when I caught up with him in Avinashi and I told him, look, you're fighting against two 28-year-old women, two young women. How do you feel? He says, I'm not old either. Let's cut across to that reaction.
தேசிய கடமை ஆற்றியிருக்கிறேன். வாக்காளர் வாக்கு செலுத்துவது எல்லாருமே வாக்கு செலுத்த வேண்டும். 100% வாக்கு செலுத்த வேண்டும் என்பதை நீங்க பாக்குறீங்க இங்க சென்னையில.
And I urge everyone else to do it.
இவ்வளவு காலையிலேயே ஒரு பெரிய கூட்டம். இந்த கூட்டம் என்னவென்னா ஒரு மாற்றத்தை வேண்டும் என்பது நினைக்கிறாங்க. சோ தமிழ்நாட்டுல
Murugan suggesting that the crowds
வேண்டும்.
that you see at the polling stations is for change.
நினைக்கிறாங்க. அதனால தான் காலையிலேயே இவ்வளவு பெரிய ஒரு கூட்டம். அவங்க வந்து அலையலையா வந்து வாக்கு செலுத்திருக்காங்க. குறிப்பாக அடுக்குமாடிகள்ல இருந்து கூட்டமா வந்து இவ்வளவு கியூல நின்று அனைவரும் ஓட்டு செலுத்திட்டு இருக்காங்க. அனைவரும் இன்னும் வீட்டில் இருக்கிறவங்க எல்லாம் சீக்கிரம் வந்து தங்களுடைய ஜனநாயக கடமையை ஆற்ற வேண்டும். அனைவரும் 100% வாக்களிக்க வேண்டும் என்று கேட்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம். நன்றி.
Okay. So that's Murugan, Union Minister, BJP candidate of Avinashi, urging everyone to come out. Plain simple message, come out, cast your vote, but also saying, and we've been seeing quite a bit of buzz over this, that there's huge crowds, queues at polling stations. Great to see. And hopefully that will reflect in the voter turnout. But there's already all kinds of messaging, and political parties try to read into it to suggest that, look, this is a mandate for us. I'll just ask everyone to hold their horses. It's just been about 1 hour into polling right now in Tamil Nadu. So way too early to talk about which way the wind is blowing, whether it's a reflection of change, of constant. We don't know any of that just yet, but hoping that everyone comes out, casts their vote. In a state like Tamil Nadu, so literate, so progressive, the fact that we see a voter turnout of just about 70% simply doesn't cut it. And hopefully, as a result of SIR and other factors, you're going to see those numbers get boosted up, get padded up, and you will see a better voter turnout this time around. Let me open this up. We've got on our broadcast here on India Today for our rolling coverage as we continue getting you the live updates from Tamil Nadu. Sandeep Shastri, election analyst, is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Sandeep Shastri, good morning. Vanakkam. I hope you've had your cup of filter coffee or at least some dosa early in the morning.
Being a Bangalorean, filter coffee is a must, and idli and dosa is a must. So I've had my breakfast and ready for your show.
I'm glad I haven't. So I hope that I get a chance right after this. I'm not going to get into a competition with you on whose breakfast is better, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. We're going to focus on the politics that's on the menu this morning. Mr. Sandeep Shastri, you've been seeing all the images of crowds at the polling booths. 1 hour in, already everyone's putting their hands up and saying, look, there's messaging. This is crowds which wants change. But before that, just images that are coming in right now from Nandigram, Suvendu Adhikari casting his vote. Phase 1 of Bengal underway. This is the big seat everyone's talking about. Suvendu Adhikari casting his vote in Nandigram. You know, it was expected that much like 2021, we could see the big Nandigram clash of Mamata Banerjee versus Suvendu Adhikari. That didn't happen, but what we're seeing instead is a clash in Bhawanipur. That votes in phase 2. In Nandigram, it's Pabitra Kaur who's been put up by the TMC, who only recently joined the Trinamool Congress from BJP. Piyush Mishra is joining us live from Nandigram this morning. Piyush, good morning. Namaskar. Take it away. Get us those updates.
Good morning, Akshita, to you and to all our viewers. And as we are speaking, Suvendu Adhikari has reached here at a polling booth in Nandigram to cast his vote. You can see the live pictures of Suvendu Adhikari, who has now come out after casting his vote. He is sounding very confident. He has reached here with a good number of workers, and these are the live images also we are getting. Remember that this is a prestige battle for both TMC and BJP, where Suvendu Adhikari is pitted against Pabitra Kar. And remember, Pabitra Kar is the man who, last time ensured victory of Suvendu Adhikari from Nandigram, but this time he is the TMC candidate from Nandigram constituency. Pabitra Kar had recently joined Trinamool Congress, and he is now giving competition to Suvendu Adhikari. But now we are getting these images of Suvendu, who has now come out after casting his vote. He is requesting everyone to vote in large numbers, and this is the first phase which we are talking about, where the voting is underway, which began at 7 a.m. in the morning. And now we can see these pictures of Suvendu Adhikari, who has come out after casting his vote. Around 150.
For that, we're going to continue getting you pictures from Nandigram of Suvendu Adhikari casting his vote. Quite a bit of chaos there, as you could make out from our reporter's live report, from Piyush's live report, that there is in fact a huge influx of media that's gathered there, because that's a seat to watch out for in this phase. In Nandigram, Suvendu Adhikari is squaring off against Pabitra Kar. Looks like he's interacting with the media. Just give me a moment to confirm that. Give me a moment to get you those pictures, as well as our reporters are out there amid the chaos, amid the heat in Nandigram of West Bengal, to get you a sense of what the battle is really looking like right now. Piyush, can you hear me? I can see that you moved a bit of a distance away from the chaos. If you can hear me, Piyush, get us those details. Suvendu Adhikari is behind you. He's just cast his vote.
Well, certainly he has just cast his vote. He has just come out after casting his vote. And like we were discussing, that it is a prestige battle between BJP and TMC. And right behind me, you can see as to how Suvendu Adhikari is riding on an e-rickshaw, because the place where this polling booth is quite skewed. And that's why he had to come here on e-rickshaw. So these are the pictures which we are right now getting, Akshita, where Suvendu Adhikari has come out after casting his vote. Remember that this entire place has now become a prestige battle for both BJP and TMC. Right behind me, you can see the pictures where Suvendu is now coming out. Remember that this time the person who is against Suvendu Adhikari is Pabitra Kar. And last time Pabitra Kar was the man who was instrumental in ensuring Suvendu Adhikari's victory. But this time he is a TMC candidate. We are getting these pictures. I would ask my video journalist to wait for a second. We'll try to get a word from Suvendu Adhikari. Dada, कितने confident आप?
पूरा 200.
200. आप दीदी को हराएंगे आप?
वो तो 29.
Suvendu Adhikari is now sounding confident. He's telling us that around 200 seats BJP is now going to get. He has just left after casting his vote, and we'll also try to follow him on e-rickshaw from the Nandigram.
Moment to our reporter to catch his breath. It's quite intense to chase down a candidate who has taken an e-rickshaw to get out of that particular area. But Suvendu Adhikari, briefly speaking to India Today, there as he made his way out, said BJP will win 200 seats.
হিন্দুদের চোখে জল হিন্দু মা বোনেরা হিন্দুদের চোখে জল बोल रहा है ये हिंदू महिला बोल रहा है आप है तो हम लोग हिंदू है ये सब हिंदू लोग सब पूरा बंगाल में दुखी
सारा दिन कितना सीट आपको लग रहा है बीजेपी ले आएगा इस पे? दादा कितना सीट आपको लग रहा है?
देखिए
दादा दादा कितना सीट आपको लग रहा है?
अच्छा
ये कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है आपके लिए ये चुनाव?
देख लीजिए
ये प्यार है, देखिए दादा से निपट गई, ये प्यार
आंसू
है।
आंसू
आंसू है,
बोले हिंदू को बचाइए।
हिंदू को बचाइए।
बिल्कुल इस बार के चुनाव में
देख लीजिए, उनको पूछिए, मैं तो नहीं बोलूंगा।
नहीं बिल्कुल ये देख,
वोटर हिंदू माता बहन किस तरीके से रो रहा है।
और चुनाव आयोग का रोल आप कैसे देखते हैं? चुनाव आयोग का रोल
दे आर ट्राइंग,
सिक्योरिटी अच्छा है,
दे आर ट्राइंग।
इस बार कोई छप्पा नहीं होगा।
দাদা
আমি এমএলএ অফিসে এক্ষুনি 5 মিনিট তো আমার এমএলএ অফিস আসো সবাইকে কোঅপারেট।
दादा को देखकर ये लोग दादा
अच्छा ये मेरा ऑफिस में आइएगा तो बगल में 1 किलोमीटर।
किसी को बोला है कि
चलो दादा रात के
आंसू हिंदू रो रहा है,
हाथों में आंसू,
हिंदू रो रहा है।
पानी का कुछ होगा, आंसू का कुछ होगा। क्या ये आंसू पूछे जाएंगे दादा? दादा क्या ये आंसू पूछे जाएंगे? दादा क्या कहना चाहेंगे? वोट डाले आप? ध्यान से
दादा इसमें नहीं।
Okay, so Suvendu Adhikari, you saw that entire sequence play out where a woman came and hugged him. And he says that she was essentially communicating to him that she will remain a Hindu only if the BJP comes to power. So a whole lot of optics playing out there as Suvendu Adhikari casts his vote in Nandigram. Speaking to the media and to India Today, he said that the BJP will win 200 of the 294 seats in Bengal. That's a big, in fact, message that's coming from the BJP, from Suvendu Adhikari. Suvendu, they're making his way out in an e-rickshaw after casting his vote. A group of women who came up to him, he says that they had a very clear message that they remain Hindus only if the BJP comes to power. And he says that that's an indication of what's been happening across Bengal, that the people of Bengal want change, that this is the state of affairs in Bengal. He was also asked about how the election commission is going about what's happening right now in Bengal and the fact that previously every election has been marked by violence. And his response to that has been very clear. He says that, look, the election commission is doing their best in the situation. We're also seeing, remember, that for phase 1 of elections in Bengal, an unprecedented deployment of central forces to ensure nothing goes wrong, that there's no sort of violence. And let's hope that the two phases of elections that we see in Bengal today being phase 1, it goes on completely peaceful, that there's no violence, that there's no disruption whatsoever. And so far in the last 1 hour, it has largely been that. It's been peaceful, and our reporters from across Bengal have reported for us that there are crowds, huge number of people who've come together to cast their vote. You can read into that however you will. But let's cut across now to a reaction from Suvendu Adhikari.
दादा एजेंट के साथ आप बैठे हुए एकदम सहज हैं आप। ताकत है आपकी।
बीजेपी का कोई नेता का कोई डिपेंड नहीं करता।
तो इस बार क्या होने वाला है?
ताकत है बीजेपी का खुद कार्यकर्ता।
इस बार क्या होने वाला है दादा?
नरेंद्र मोदी जी खुद बात किया, पश्चिम बंगाल की हार कार्यकर्ता। यही ताकत है। ये लोग बिना साथ देश के लिए और सनातन का रक्षा करने के लिए।
तो सनातन की रक्षा इस बार होगी।
चुनाव जीते तो मुख्यमंत्री
उसका साथ बेरोजगारी खत्म करने का हम लोग का
तो आईबीसी
अच्छा करके चुनाव करना और गुंडा को रोकना और ममता बनर्जी को भावनाओं को हरा।
इस बार हरा है
बांग्ला जो
हिंदी हो गया,
हिंदी वाला
Suvendu Adhikari speaking to the media, expressing confidence that the BJP BJP will definitely win this time around in Bengal. But just focusing really on the Nandigram battle right now, I'll bring back Piyush Mishra on this broadcast. Piyush, it was expected that we could see a clash of titans once again in Nandigram. But Suvendu Adhikari is up against Pabitra Kaur, who only recently joined the TMC from the BJP. So essentially, if you see it, you've got a Suvendu Adhikari from TMC to BJP, a Pabitra Kaur from BJP to TMC. So very interesting twist here that's playing out in Nandigram.
No doubt about it, Akshita. It's a very interesting twist, which is now fight which is now taking place in Nandigram. Right behind me, you can also see the pictures of Suvendu Adhikari, who's come to meet a few BJP workers, and is now claiming that BJP is going to get around 200 seats. Remember that Pabitra Kaur, who is pitted against Suvendu Adhikari, is the same man who in 2021 assembly elections had ensured a victory of Suvendu Adhikari. But this time, the man who was close aide of Suvendu Adhikari has been made a TMC candidate. And while talking to us, Suvendu Adhikari is stressing upon the fact that Hindus of Bengal can be saved only and only when BJP comes to power. So Suvendu Adhikari is now again going to sit in an e-rickshaw. He is meeting with women also of this entire constituency, and when he met with a group of women, they started crying, and he also showed, Suvendu Adhikari showed us tears, telling us that these are the tears of women who have faced a lot of brutality.
मैं वोट डाल दिया सर इधर सर यहाँ हिंदू जो हमारी दीदी बहन यहाँ हिंदू जो हमारी दीदी बहनें रो रहा है जो इस बार परिवर्तन नहीं होगा तो बंगाल का सनातन खत्म होगा।
दादा किस तरह से अभी माहौल हर जगह बूथ में क्या है, पिंगला में जैसे आप बात करें क्या है दादा? एक मिनट दादा
माहौल ठीक है, कंट्रोल है, इलेक्शन कमीशन इज डूइंग वेरी बेटर, लेकिन कुछ तो है, चोट डाका तो है अभी भी। वो पिंगला उसी का खिलाफ हम लोग का स्पेसिफिक कंप्लेंट है, चिन्मय प्रामाणिक।
क्या हुआ है वहाँ पे?
हमारे पोलिंग एजेंट को अरेस्ट किया है, उसको तुरंत कार्रवाई होना चाहिए। मैं पुलिस ऑब्जर्वर, स्टेट पुलिस ऑब्जर्वर मिश्रा और सीओ साहब मनोज अग्रवाल के साथ कंप्लेन भी किया, उसको तुरंत उसको हटाना चाहिए, एक्शन होना चाहिए, सस्पेंड होना चाहिए। चलिए बाकी मेरा ऑफिस में बता,
2 मिनट दादा बस
मेरा ऑफिस में आइए भाई, इस तरीके से नहीं, ये तो हमने
Okay, so that's Suvendu Adhikari casting his vote. Let's switch back across to Tamil Nadu. We're going to constantly have to do this because there's action coming in from both states, from Tamil Nadu and Bengal. On your screens are images of Kamal Haasan with his daughter, Shruti Haasan, coming out to cast their vote in Chennai. The Makkal Needhi Mayam this time around not contesting. Kamal Haasan has essentially been a star campaigner for the DMK alliance. So again, no prizes for guessing who he's casting his vote for. 2021, Kamal Haasan did try a Vijay, essentially. Remember, he had contested that election. The Makkal Needhi Mayam had fought a number of seats, but didn't manage to make any impact. With just about a single digit, under 5% vote share that he managed, he lost his seat too. After which he's essentially joined hands with the DMK alliance, now a Rajya Sabha member of Parliament. Kamal Haasan casting his vote early this morning in Chennai, along with his daughter, Shruti Haasan. As we get to these images, let me bring in Sandeep Shastri once again. Sandeep Shastri, my apologies for earlier, but just quickly focusing on these images of Kamal Haasan, I think what it takes you back to is what happened in 2021 with Kamal Haasan. And all of the comparisons right now to the situation with Vijay, on whether Vijay politically could be a Kamal Haasan. Could he be a political flop, Sandeep Shastri? Because here's an example of how superstardom doesn't necessarily translate to political success in Tamil Nadu.
Akshita, you have made the point very, very succinctly. I think as of now, Vijay stands somewhere between MGR's success and Kamal Haasan's attempt. Remember, ever since MGR contested his first election in 1967, he did not lose a single election himself. And he built up that base to do what he did in 1977, 10 years later. Now, in a sense, Vijay is an untested electoral party and candidate. This party has no past experience in elections. So this is the first test. So I'm not too sure whether in this first test they will be able to make a huge splash. They may create a ripple, but does it lead to a huge splash? I have a huge question mark on that. And in Kamal Haasan's case, I think the issues that Kamal Haasan raised, the little left of the center stand that Kamal Haasan took, I think it did not go well in terms of this mass following that is required. Tamil Nadu politics requires a strong focus on Dravidian politics, Dravidian issues, which Kamal Haasan did not do. And I think that explains his not succeeding in electoral politics, even though as an actor, he had unquestioned capacity. So for me, I will look at Vijay as an untested factor. And for me, he straddled somewhere in between the huge popularity of MGR and the strong personality of Kamal Haasan, but a personality which was not able to transform it into electoral success.
You know, when you say somewhere between MGR and Kamal Haasan, I want to put that in numbers for our viewers, so what that can actually look like. So let me just take a look really right now at what exactly we mean by that. What exactly is an MGR performance versus a Kamal Haasan performance versus others? You had other politicians also in the fray. So we'll just break that down for you right now of what MGR's vote share looked like in 1977. This is when he launched the AIADMK. It was his first test on his own. I will highlight that MGR was a politician, was with the DMK before that, from 1963. So he was someone who was considered to be a seasoned politician. But an MGR in 1977 managed to sweep the elections, 130 seats just for the AIADMK, a vote percentage of 30.4%. Which is why Vijay keeps coming back to MGR, which is why Vijay says he is the next MGR. If he can pull this off right here, that's a sweep. But then they've got other examples. Look at Vijay, DMDK launched it in 2006. Now, what Vijay did at that point in 2006 is he managed an 8.4% vote share and one seat. He won his own seat. Right after that, the next election, 2011, he soared higher. He became the leader of opposition. But right after that, completely fizzled out. So the Vijay model is something, again, that didn't work out in Tamil Nadu politics. So that's, again, something that Vijay will be wary of. As much as he was inspired to enter politics by Vijay and speaks of him in his rallies, he knows full well that the Vijay model didn't work out. 2 elections he did well, completely fizzled out due to personal reasons as well, for health. Then Kamal Haasan. Why do we keep saying Kamal Haasan was a political flop? Because in 2021, when he contested elections, managed a vote share of just about 2.62%, lost his own seat. He fought from Coimbatore South, lost to Vanathi Srinivasan. So Kamal Haasan essentially now, while maybe he may be a Rajya Sabha MP, hasn't tasted electoral success. And they're all superstars. You know, MGR had this huge fanfare. Vijay called Captain, had an upright image. His films were huge hits. He had a massive fan base. Didn't necessarily translate. 2 times, yes it did. After that, not really. Kamal Haasan, we all know, is a living legend, referred to as the Ulaganayagan in Tamil Nadu. Doesn't necessarily translate to votes. So for Vijay, what really can he do different from a Kamal Haasan, from a Vijay and ensure that he takes from an MGR that can lead to him being a success? That's the big question. Because ultimately, if he looks at who he wants to emulate, he'll want to emulate the MGR model. He talks of MGR, he talks of Vijay in his speeches. But to actually pull off what MGR did isn't easy, because like I said, for MGR, while 1977 is when AIADMK fought the election, a party that he founded, he was already in politics with the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam for many years before that, whereas Vijay is a new entrant. Let's cut across on that note to Vijay's first images coming in this morning. He's arrived to cast his vote and we are going to get you those images also of him right now at the polling booth. There you have it. We're going to go across to Pramod Madhav for those updates as well. The vehicle has just come in. Let's cut across to Pramod.
You see here, and he is a TVK leader, a star who has born to become an actor right now, who is entering, and he's going inside to cast his vote. His fans actually going ahead. You could see the kind of fan frenzy around him. People, Vijay, and you could also see they're getting seriously very fan frenzy in this spot, and that is Vijay, who is slowly walking towards the place where he's going to cast his vote. And now he's surrounded completely by his fans at this spot, and here you can also see police are also there his team is also there of bouncers, but they are not able to control Vijay. And there he is over there, who is slowly walking after become. In 2021, he came here to cast his vote. And right now, in 2026, after he has started his own party, he has come over here to cast his vote. This is also in the ECR, East Coast Road. And you could see the kind of mayhem that followed Vijay, who is here to cast his vote. Tamil Nadu leader. He's no longer just an actor, but Tamil Nadu leader who has come here to cast his vote amidst all the kind of fan frenzy and crowd that you see a spot. That is Vijay, who is coming over here to cast his vote at this location. Vijay, who has started his party, and he very clearly says that here he has come to do, bring in change and such. But that is the TVK leader, Vijay, who has come here to cast his vote amidst a huge fan frenzy that is also there. It is kind of violating because fans are not supposed to come inside this particular spot, but it looks like police are finding it extremely difficult to handle the situation. As always with Vijay fans, the crowd is turning absolutely crazy, and that is Vijay is here to cast his vote. Keeping everybody away, and he's going over there to cast his vote. That is over here, and now he's actually casting his vote completely. Look at the crowd, and this is everybody is being pushed, and even young and old voters who are here are under trouble because of the push and pull at this spot. Definitely hurting, and this is a kind of situation every time. Everybody at the spot. It is absolute mayhem at the spot as Vijay has come to cast his vote. With Irfan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
Tough situation there to be reporting from. You can see the crowds, and as someone who's been there in those crowds, I can tell you it's mayhem, it's chaos. It takes a lot for a reporter to be able to even stand in one place and file that report. But Vijay making his way into the polling booth there, people jostling to catch a glimpse of Vijay. Can he be the man of the match? This is his political debut. A lot at stake for him, for the TVK. And look at the crowds there as they gathered. Fans in large numbers just to catch a glimpse of Vijay. Apologies. You can hear chants of Talaiva as he made his way inside. He's gone in now to cast his vote. The cops had a tough time there trying to stop fans from entering into the polling booth. But there's a huge media contingent also that you see on your screens. A much more, quiet appearance this time when compared to 2021, when Vijay had actually cycled to his polling booth. Pramod is live with us from that location in Chennai. Pramod, I just want to compare these images of what you got us versus what happened in 2021. When I remember Vijay cycled to the polling booth, and there were so many questions about the messaging, about what it means, the color of his cycle. 5 years later, we were right all along that he was planning to enter politics. Pramod, can you hear me? Okay, we'll go across to Pramod in just a bit. It's quite chaotic out there, as you can see on your screens, as the bouncers, the cops all had a tough time controlling the fanfare around Vijay as he made his way into the polling booth. You can see Vijay waiting patiently there, trying to make his way inside. Chants of TVK, and this is inside the polling booth, mind you. That's a clear violation, but there's only so much you can do to control the chaos as it plays out. And this is common scenes in Tamil Nadu. For people watching and tuning in from other states, you may be wondering, how is this possible that one person making his way into a polling booth to cast his vote leads to so much of a fan frenzy? This is the normal, honestly, in Tamil Nadu, that superstars are worshipped. Just one glimpse of the superstar is what they wait for. And this time, of course, that emotion is magnified because of the fact that Vijay is also contesting this election. Pramod is back with us. Pramod, before we lost you, I was just making a comparison of what happened in 2021 versus now. And you were there then too, when Vijay had taken a cycle ride all the way to the polling booth. There were so many questions about whether he's entering politics or not. And now you've got clarity. 5 years later, he's in the poll fray. This is the most important moment of his life. of his political career that's just started.
Well, Akshita, one thing is very certain, the protection in this location must have been done properly, because you could see what has done. Vijay's fans have completely broken this, and everything is like broken in this area, which was placed over here, the flower pots or the kind of like rails that were placed in, completely uprooted, because that is a kind of, fan frenzy that over here. What the police have to be done is that they actually are supposed to control it. Unfortunately, even voters were pushed down, and they actually are now upset in Achana, and they are now upset over this situation in Achana. Some of the voters are upset, and over here, this you could see right now also the particular the kind of mayhem is occurring on that spot. In fact, police have brought in speakers over here to control the crowd, but that is not happening. We are also pushed and thrown out of this way. But right now, Vijay, Tamil Nadu leader, is here, the same booth where he also casted his vote in 2024, and same sort of mayhem was observed over there. Very clearly, police could have done something better, but unfortunately, this whole area turned into a complete mayhem as Vijay came over here, and still as we speak, he's inside casting his vote, Akshita.
Mayhem, chaos playing out. They're unfortunate, really. And there will be questions about whether there was a need for better preparations, because you can see that crowds were allowed to gather, which was a big no, Pramod. They shouldn't have been allowed to gather in the first place. That you had this fanfare outside, inside, right up to the polling booth, and understandably, other voters there to cast their vote, very, very upset, very frustrated, very angry, because they're having to wait on the side. You can see some of the infrastructures in that campus has also been broken as a result of the mad rush inside. And so there will be serious questions about the kind of preparations that were really made, Pramod, there.
Akshita, as we speak, there is possibility that Vijay might exit anytime soon. But even before that, you could see a fight breaking over there, because on one side we have the police, and on the other side we have the bouncers who are accompanying Vijay. Then you have the media and the fans over there, and everybody's over there who's actually going ahead, and they are, they are blocking, and one of the bouncers is having a kind of rough time with the media at this spot, and the media claim that it is time for Vijay to exit, as you see over there. And right now we are getting prepared for Vijay's exit, Akshita. This is turning out to be completely chaotic, as people are over here just to see Vijay. Definitely such a crowd should not have gathered inside the spot. Police could have cleared them, but you could see they simply state that the actual the fans are not listening to them. And now as we speak, the bouncers of Vijay are moving out, and also Vijay might any time here. The important aspect is that bouncers are not supposed to actually accompany Vijay, but here they are, and they are also apparently the people here claim are responsible for the mayhem. And as we speak, this entire spot, people were pushed out and things like that, and in some time Vijay is going to exit, and then for that only here now all this is happening. In fact, Vijay is expected to exit in 2 minutes or so, Akshita, but before that, such a huge mayhem with fans and everybody who are here. And this is you could see, and there also you could see now, right now, that Vijay is slowly trying to exit, and before that, now police are trying to make a clear path for Vijay to move from here. However, on this side is where the issue is going to happen, because there are fans, and this is where issue turns up, because these are the fans who are going to jump in and trouble for them. But earlier also this happened, and as we speak, Vijay is going to exit. But here you could see the problem is that as Vijay came over, a large crowd entered, and that is causing a lot of issues here, Akshita. And as we speak, all preparations are being made for Vijay to exit. Who could have cast his vote by now? Tamil Nadu leader Vijay. All preparations are here for his exit from here, Akshita.
Pramod, be careful out there. Someone who's also covered these kind of events where Vijay comes out, I know how chaotic it can get and how dangerous it can get for reporters out there, because, in the melee that breaks out, people are pushed, shoved aside by the police, by the bouncers there. You're right in highlighting that the personal security isn't allowed inside, but in such a situation, perhaps it's a need, because look at the chaos and the manner in which the cops are struggling to control the crowds there. Many of those fans outside have managed to make their way inside. Vijay is inside the polling booth. They're perhaps trying to sanitize the area before Vijay really gets out. Completely unnecessary scenes of chaos this. This should have been avoided. Yes, Pramod, go ahead.
They are pushing people just to make a way over here. Yeah. That's what you see over here at this location. And in some time, Vijay is going to exit. But before that he could exit, they are trying to make the way over here. unfortunately, like you exactly mentioned, rules are not being followed. Things have been broken, and this is becoming a repeat issue when it comes to Vijay voting or such. I've seen it at least thrice now, and even after that, police claimed that for now they want to just take Vijay safely from here and exit, and that's what they're planning. And over there, his fans are also trying to make a human chain for Vijay to exit, leave this particular spot, and that kind of plan is also done. However, you could also see now the police is requesting the media people also to cooperate because the situation has turned completely chaotic. Now it might sound very quiet, but in just 2 minutes, it's going to turn once again into an absolute Jallikattu Akshita. That's what is happening at the spot. Unfortunately, time and again, this is happening, which means someone has to take responsibility, someone needs to pay for the damage, and also someone has to make sure this does not happen because this is a voting spot, and we also saw senior citizens pushed away by people, but everyone waiting here for Vijay now, Akshita.
Okay, let's hope that, there's no more chaos that plays out. They're trying to clear that entire area. Vijay himself, if you see, hasn't resorted to any sort of political messaging. There's no question of him speaking to the media. He's quietly made his way inside, trying to make it safely to the polling booth and out. So he knows better than to actually interact with the crowds there, because that's only going to get them further, crazed, get wilder in their reaction, try to reach him as much as they can. You can already see barricades and the likes have completely been broken apart as a result of the chaos that played out when Vijay turned up there. It's 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning. It was known this is when Vijay would come out, and yet despite all the preps on ground, nothing has prepared the administration or the cops for the chaos that's broken out. And so there will be serious questions about what kind of steps should have ideally been taken to ensure that this kind of a situation doesn't play out. Okay, these are images of Vijay now stepping out. Pramod, over to you.
May have absolutely chaotic once again. The police have to use, yes, Akshita, Vijay, police have to use the shields to move people, and even my Vijay cannot stand here. Everything is turning out to be absolutely chaotic over here. As crowd and everyone is being pushed by people at the spot, police and everything. And you could see right now, there he is, Vijay, who's also over there, who's exiting after casting his vote over here. And the police are having difficulty to actually control the crowd. That is Vechi Kadagam for Vijay, who is over here after casting his vote. And there's a shield placed by the police who are trying to push us as well. Over there, and Vijay's fans are moving over there. And that we speak over there, this police also are trying to push us out, and it is absolutely chaotic at this spot because Vijay surrounded by his over there. Where is Vijay? Over there. It's actually
those cries there, people yelling Anna, Anna at Vijay, trying to get his attention. Unfortunate really that this is at a polling booth that these fans have gathered in this manner. And just look at that view that we've got, a top angle shot of the chaos that's playing out. The cops are trying so hard to secure the area, push past and allow Vijay to get to his car. It's just 3 steps away. And yet the chaos that's playing out for him to be able to enter his car is absolutely insane. This is the fanfare for Vijay, but it's also the fact that this is how wild it gets every single time he steps out of his residence. Every single time he looks to go out for a campaign, it's madness. This is him casting his vote. No show. Quietly came in his car right up to the gate, walked out, went, cast his vote. And even that kind of an appearance has turned absolutely chaotic. And that's Vijay now making his way out of the polling booth. No question of him, of course, interacting with the media, but trying to get out of there. You can see his car is also surrounded right now. Absolute mayhem, Pramod. The question that will be asked is why were these crowds allowed to gather in the first place? This is something that's known about every Vijay appearance, that these crowds would gather. Why wasn't it stopped?
Akshita, it needs to be stopped. It turns out to be an issue every single time. And there you see, now Vijay has exited this particular street. His fans are surrounding him. And from here, he will go like this. And one thing he only showed, he does not interact with the media. But what he did was that he actually showed his finger where, there is the ink right now after casting his vote. only that is the message he gives or he speaks in the stage. But that's how Tamil Nadu leader Vijay wants to handle this, and the entire crowd has now dispersed after Vijay had exited the spot. Definitely, this is not right. Police are supposed to handle it. Vijay team is supposed to tell them that fans should not gather over here, and the bouncers are supposed to behave a little better. But nothing happened over here, just like every other time, Akshita.
Absolute craziness there, and these people that you see gathered around Pramod, they've all now dispersed as a result of Vijay having cast his vote and left. But away from really what we've seen right now, this is an election that matters for Vijay. He's confident, or at least seems to, in every rally, speak of the support that he has. You see it on ground. You know, when you're in the newsroom, and I was here about 2 months ago, I didn't really think that Vijay stood a chance. Then you go on the ground, you speak to so many people, and almost every 1 in 3 says, let's give Vijay a chance. Martyrdom is the word they constantly use. Change is the word they constantly use. So, you know, to dismiss him as someone who, you know, will be not having an impact, completely impossible. This is a political player that must be taken seriously. What will be his impact? Whose votes will he cut into? We don't know. But these are images from inside the polling booth of Vijay as he was getting set to cast his vote. And even there was quite a bit of security present, because there were people outside trying to get inside to meet Vijay, to catch a glimpse of him, which is why you see, in fact, the security with him there. Obviously, a huge amount of inconvenience for the other voters in that particular polling booth. But there's only so much really that the security also can do in this kind of a situation. You could see this from moments ago. People were being sent out saying, look, you cannot enter inside the polling booth. But with the kind of craze, hundreds who had gathered there, absolutely insane images. From one superstar to another, one in politics, another who almost entered politics but didn't. Let's take it across to Rajinikanth, who's also casting his vote. Nagarjun Dwarkanath is joining us live right now. Nagarjun, Rajini is there. Like I said, from one superstar to another, not so much from one super neta to another.
That's absolutely true. In fact, Rajinikanth is right behind me. In fact, if I can move the camera closer, you can see the camera frenzy there. At this point of time, Rajini has just reached Stella
Naga, I'm going to give
booth.
you a moment, because I want you to switch off your blur behind you. We're not really able to catch those images, so we're going to give you a moment to switch off that blur so I can see Rajinikanth behind you at that polling booth. But as we get you these images of Vijay, he's come, he's cast his vote. We're going to try to get you an image of his inked finger as well, which I'm guessing he will also post very, very soon on social media, urging people to come out and cast their vote. Look, we have seen a whole lot of talk about the Vijay factor, and so for Vijay himself to prove his mettle in this election, it'll be interesting to watch out for. I'm going to take this back across to Nagarjun. He's fixed his frame. Naga, over to you.
Actually, at this point of time, Rajinikanth has reached Stella Mary's booth right now to cast his vote. You can see the media frenzy there at this point of time. Let me ask my camera person to come closer with me to take you to what's happening here. This is the location where Rajinikanth has reached. This is his car as we speak. He's just come with his family. Let me try to get a glimpse of Rajini. In a couple of moments, he'll be walking just right past me with his inked finger. So I'll be positioned myself at the exit, hopefully to get a glimpse of Rajini also while he's coming out, showing his inked finger. Just moments ago, he came, his car drove all the way to the polling booth entrance now. And in moments from now, I'll have Rajini himself just walking by me and showing his inked finger as well. So all eyes on Rajinikanth. He had gone for a morning walk. We got the visuals also. He usually casts his vote at 7:30 in the morning, but this time around, he came around 8:45, which is just moments ago. And he's come with his family. We saw people drive with him in the car, and then he's entered the booth. He's wearing this white shirt and veshti, and then in moments from now, I'll have visuals of him coming out. There's a lot of media friendly. The police have barricaded this as well, the entry, to ensure that the Rajinikanth is protected and there's enough security, because there's a lot of pushing and pulling also, Akshita. You can imagine the frenzy. People have come in to just see Rajinikanth and get a glimpse of him, because once in 5 years is when he makes his public appearance in the polling booth, where he's standing as a common public and trying to cast his vote. In moments from now, we'll have Rajinikanth live on India Today just after casting his vote, maybe We'll try to get him, maybe a word from him, or also asking him to show his inked finger after he casts his vote.
Okay, now Rajun, we'll stand by for that. In the meanwhile, we've got those images of Rajinikanth standing in line. Same chaos as is playing out with Vijay there. Rajinikanth standing quietly in line, but you can see the rush as people are trying very hard to meet him. But the cops there trying to control the situation, and that's Rajinikanth there going in to cast his vote early this morning. He is with his family in different circumstances. You may have seen him in the electoral fray this time, in the electoral contest. But remember back in 2021 when there was all this buzz that he was entering politics, will he, won't he, all of that, he finally backed out saying that due to health and other circumstances, I'm not going to be in the fray. Rajinikanth also to cast his vote, trying to ensure that the cameras can't capture who he's voting for, because you can see cameras right up to where he is at that polling booth, at the place where he's going to be pressing the button. So the EC officials, the officers there, the cops are all trying to ensure that the crowd kind of pushes back so they can't see who he's voting for. It's quite insane that everyone's managed to enter right up into that polling booth, right up to where he's voting. This is in the Stella Maris College. It's in the heart of Chennai. That's where he always votes. It's in Post Garden. And so the people now are being asked to move back to ensure that Rajinikanth's right to exercise his franchise without anyone but him knowing who he's cast his vote for remains. There's the inked finger on your screens. Rajinikanth has cast his vote. No way to find out who really he's chosen. But in an interesting battle like this, Rajinikanth with his daughter has come to cast his vote. He showed off his inked finger, waiting for his family members also to finish exercising their franchise. And then he's going to be headed out. Absolute mayhem there with every superstar, whether it was Ajit early this morning, Vijay, of course, a whole another level, considering that he is in the poll fray this time, and then now with Rajinikanth as well. These are scenes that we see every single time playing out in Tamil Nadu when these superstars come out to cast their vote as well. All of them extremely popular. All of them are massy superhero superstars. And that's why you see that kind of craze. That's Kamal Haasan also earlier today. Relatively quieter. And that's Ulaganayagan there with his daughter, Shruti Haasan. Relatively quieter scenes there as Kamal Haasan came to cast his vote. But for Ajit early this morning, for Vijay just about 10 minutes ago, and now for Rajinikanth, absolute chaos that's playing out. And this is essentially what sums up the superstar culture for you. This is why when a superstar enters politics, it becomes one of the biggest talking points about whether the kind of frenzy, the support that you see on your screens will translate to votes or not. We should have the answers for that in about a week from now. The people are deciding right now whether they want these superstars in politics or not. Because we've seen examples like Kamal Haasan, where it hasn't worked out. We've seen examples like Rajinikanth, where it didn't work out on his end. He chose to back out last minute. And then we've seen examples like MGR, Jayalalitha, who've been huge political successes. Across to Nagarjun Dwarkanath as Rajinikanth makes his way out. Yeah, Naga, go ahead.
Yes, I'm right at the place where Rajini is entering. I've positioned myself right now at the driver end, and I love Rajini entering the car. Let me try getting you the close-up visual of Rajini as well. And let me ask the driver to open the. Okay, I'm showing you Rajini. Can you see Rajini? Right here, Akshita in the car. Rajinikanth sitting and showing his inked finger with his family. That's Soundarya Rajinikanth also, who had come to cast his vote along with the father. So the father and daughter duo together have casted their vote at this point of time. We don't know who he casted the vote for, but there's a lot of pushing and pulling. The barricade collapsed. People had come in to ensure that they get a glimpse of Rajinikanth at this point of time. He was wearing his white t-shirt, black pants, in tracks, and smiling faces. So he's casted his vote, and you can see people, all of this who are not media also have just come to get a glimpse of Rajini to ensure that they're a superstar. They get one visual of them as well. So a lot of media contingent. And at this point of time, just 2 minutes before, there was the AIADMK candidate who had come inspecting the booth also, as everything is fine. The booth agents, he spoke to the booth agents. Moments after that, Rajini came and casted his vote, and he just left from the polling booth.
Okay, so Rajinikanth casting his vote early this morning. You've had Ajit, you've had Vijay, you've had Kamal Haasan all casting their vote. We're also standing by because Chief Minister Stalin, we understand, is going to be casting his vote any time now. He's left from his residence. Anaga Keshav, and we're going to connect with Anaga Keshav for those live updates of Stalin as he's expected at the polling booth. You can already see the security that's been deployed for the DMK, for Stalin. He's looking at scripting history, what even his father couldn't achieve. Of a second consecutive term as Chief Minister, he's hoping to do. Jayalalitha has done it. Jayalalitha, MGR, they've done it, ensuring successive terms in a state that's always chosen to be a pendulum of essentially choosing a seesaw trend of one government and then the other party getting the chance the next term. So there is a strong sense of anti-incumbency usually in Tamil Nadu. This time around, what really will happen is the question. Stalin does have a certain amount of goodwill among the people. So you don't see a strong sense of anti-incumbency on the ground. But having said that, issues like law and order, women's safety, farmers, they've been speaking out. They've been saying that these are issues we want addressed. On your screens also is the seat that Stalin is fighting from. He's fighting from Coimbatore, which is his constituency, his stronghold. So it's not expected to really be a difficult battle or an uphill battle for them. The AIADMK has fielded Shantanu Krishnan, but as far as Coimbatore is concerned, that should be easy enough for Stalin. That's his stronghold, that's his seat. It's a larger picture that there's a question over. On your screens are some of the highlights that we've seen of Vijay so far in Tamil Nadu. Rajinikanth, who came out to cast his vote earlier. Kamal Haasan, soon after that. The Makkal Needhi Mayam has now essentially joined hands with the DMK. So you've had Kamal Haasan rather active this election season as a star campaigner for the DMK. And first images of Chief Minister Stalin with his wife Durga Stalin appearing to cast his vote in Chennai.
Please take in live.
And those are the pictures on your screens. We're going to connect with my colleague Anaga, who is there right now and who will get us these live images of Chief Minister Stalin as he walks in. The entire area cleared of security has been in fact ensured that the entire area now is clear for Chief Minister Stalin to come in and cast his vote. That's Stalin there with his wife Durga Stalin. His son is also expected in a short while from now. Udayanidhi Stalin also there along with his wife Kirtiga. She is there also. So the full family coming out in a show of support. Usually the father and son choose to come out separately. This time it's a DMK first family, if you will, show of strength, where Stalin, Udayanidhi Stalin, Durga Stalin and Udayanidhi's wife Kirtiga is also there, all coming together to cast their vote. This is a crucial election for the DMK. You know, they've been constantly dismissive of the challenges that they're facing in this election, whether it's the AIADMK or whether it's the TVK, constantly projecting what they've referred to as the Dravidian model 2.0. And that's what they're pitching for in this particular election. The voters ultimately will have their say. But the man on your screens, MK Stalin, the responsibility of carrying forward the DMK, ensuring a win, lies squarely on his shoulders. Udayanidhi Stalin has also grabbed headlines with the kind of campaigns he's done, with the attacks that he's fired at political rivals, whether it's Vijay or EPS. But let's be very clear that it's the father who's currently helming the affairs and who is leading the DMK into this election. Anaga Keshav is live with us also for the latest updates. Anaga, take it away. You're there where Chief Minister Stalin is going to be casting his vote. He's come with the full family, a DMK first family show of strength.
Yeah. That's right. In fact, we saw Chief Minister's wife Durga Stalin, Udayanidhi's wife Kirutika and his son Inbanidhi. The entire family was here with a smile on their faces. In fact, Durga Stalin was there with a very nice warm smile on her face. They've just entered inside the polling booth. We saw the body language where Udayanidhi had his hand around his son Inbanidhi's shoulder, a gesture which has done multiple times. Even during Jallikattu times, we've seen how Inbanidhi has been the face at all public events, and now the entire family has come to cast their vote. In fact, this is the SIT college polling booth which falls under the Mylapore constituency, where the principal challenger would be BJP's Tamilisai Soundararajan. So there it is, Chief Minister Stalin heading the family. He was walking in the front, leading his family at the back. He's just entered inside the polling booth to cast their vote. A big day indeed. The Chief Minister himself leading by an example to show to the people that it's important to come out first thing in the morning and to cast their votes.
So this is at the SIET College. It's just, in fact, a few meters away from where Chief Minister Stalin resides on Cenotaph Road. The full family coming together, all smiles, looking very calm. Nice to see all of the politicians kind of, sitting back now saying, look, we've done the hard work, we've done the campaign, we've been part of these hectic schedules, and now it's over to the people. So they get a bit of a break from today right up to May 4th, which is when the results are, which is when, of course, it's result time, exam versus result. So at that time, when you have the summer break, that's what they're going to be enjoying in the next few days. But whether it's EPS, the ever-smiling politician, looking calm, composed, or Chief Minister Stalin there, walking into this family, all casual, all seemingly saying, look, we've done what we've had to do, it's over to the people. But I will highlight who, in fact, Anaga was referring to was Udayanidhi's son, Inbanidhi, who's there in a blue shirt. So he's with the family too. So all 5 of the family members coming together to cast their vote right now. Interestingly, this falls under the Mylapore constituency, which is where you're seeing the battle between Tamilisai Soundararajan and Velu. So you can only imagine the pressure right now for Velu of DMK to ensure that he seals a win, because, you've got his boss essentially voting in his constituency, in his seat, and no prizes for guessing which way all 5 will be voting. So the full family standing in line, and this is something we've seen of late, that politicians, no matter how powerful, no matter what their stature, stand in line, calmly, coolly, waiting for their chance to vote. But, just to give you a sense of what really Tamil Nadu is like, just moments ago, we showed you the craze for Vijay. He's not the chief minister. He is a superstar who's entered politics. You have the chief minister in your frame, or for that matter, an EPS. They're managing to calmly go in, cast their votes, stand in line, take their time, wait for their turn, go with their family, and yet contrast that to a Vijay, to an Ajit, to a Rajinikanth, where it's absolute craziness. So it tells you really how Tamil Nadu thinks, that they're crazy for their superstars, not necessarily for their politicians. Their politicians live a fairly normal life. The superstars, it's absolute madness. So just to, give you that clear contrast of how superstars see thousands of fans, it's a hustle, jostle to get right into the polling booth, whereas the politicians calmly standing in line, waiting. You can see Udayanidhi Stalin having a chat with his wife as he waits in line. His son right in front of him, that's Inbanidhi there. So you've got Stalin, Durga Stalin, his wife, his grandson Inbanidhi, and then you have Kirtiga and Udayanidhi all standing in line there waiting to cast their vote. I'll take this back across to Anaga Keshav. Anaga, just the two contrasts are on our screens of the chaos when a superstar comes to vote versus the calm when a politician comes to vote.
Well, in fact, there was a lot of calm indeed, a sort of confidence in the eyes of Stalin and Stalin's family. The whole family was there, his daughter-in-law, his wife, his son, his grandson. The entire family was there in action, leading by an example to cast their vote. There was this sort of calmness, this sort of confidence. And I want to highlight another interesting point. And as Stalin is inside the polling booth, BJP's candidate Tamilisai Soundararajan, who is a candidate from this very constituency, is also inside. So they might meet each other inside, Stalin and Tamilisai Soundararajan. So that would be some very interesting visuals to look out for. In fact, Tamilisai Soundararajan, while speaking to India Today, was also appealing to Chief Minister Stalin himself to choose a woman candidate. So was that an indirect appeal to, to go a step, stick her neck out and appeal for Stalin to vote for her? So that's the kind of cheeky comment that Tamilisai Soundararajan also made on India Today. And inside the polling booth, Stalin's family is there. Tamilisai Soundararajan is also standing in the queue. It's going to be a very interesting visual to wait and watch out for. Leading by an example, Tamil Nadu's first family, the Chief Minister's family, out here early in the morning with the entire family casting his vote. The challenger, Adhikari was also there along with his family to cast his vote. Kamal Haasan was there. A lot of superstars, including Anirudh, was also there first thing in the morning, early in the morning to cast their vote. Certainly leading by an example.
Qualifies as a superstar, but sure, you're seeing a lot of big stars on at the scale of Rajinikanth, Vijay, Ajit, who've already come out to cast their vote. Kamal Haasan too, you're right. But we're waiting for those images that you've told us about, that as Stalin is inside to cast his vote, Tamilisai Soundararajan is also there. She is the candidate from that very state, from Mylapore constituency. So it'll be interesting to see the messaging and the optics involved when and if that meeting actually happens between Stalin and Tamilisai Soundararajan. Of course, there there is warmth between these leaders. There's no question of any sort of personal hatred, which is what's always great to see in the political stage, that while they may have their differences, while they fight a heated election campaign, ultimately behind the scenes, there's no bad blood. And so you could see that actually playing out. That's Stalin right now casting his vote there in the SIAT College of Tenampet, very, very close to where he lives on Cenotaph Road. Stalin is going in to cast his vote, followed by Durga Stalin, his wife, who's also there, waiting patiently in line. The process is being completed. You can see all of the cameras glued to Stalin as well as he gets set to cast his vote to exercise his franchise. The DMK First family there, leading by example. 9 a.m. on the clock, and already you're seeing all the biggest faces of Tamil Nadu having cast their vote, exercising their franchise. And it's great to see leading by example, keeping aside all the chaos, the madness that we're seeing. I just want to focus on the fact that they're leading by example, and this makes a difference. Because you're seeing the frenzy around them. So you send across a message that, look, you need to go out and do your duty. Live images right now as Stalin is casting his vote. No prizes for guessing exactly who he's voting for. But this is in the Mylapore constituency. So if he clicks the rising sun button, that essentially goes the Uday Suryan symbol for the DMK. That's to Velu, the candidate in Mylapore, squaring off against Tamilisai Soundararajan. So Chief Minister Stalin there showing off his inked finger as he leaves from the polling booth. The rest of his family following Durga Stalin, Inbanidhi, his grandson, Udaynidhi Stalin, Kirtiga, his daughter-in-law, all of them lined up to cast their vote as well. So these are the images on your screens of the DMK First family, one after another going in to cast their vote, showing off their inked finger. This is at the SIAT College in Chennai. Lots at stake for Stalin as well, who's taken the responsibility upon him of carrying forward that narrative of Dravidian Model 2.2. But as we focus on Tamil Nadu, on these images from Chennai, remember that it's also phase one of Bengal right now. And Preeti Chaudhary is live with us from Kolkata. Preeti, good morning. Vanakkam, namaskar, since you're in Bengal. Phase one of polling in Bengal, Preeti. And since early in the morning, Chennai is an early morning city. So we've been focusing largely on Tamil Nadu with all of the superstars, the politicians coming in to cast their vote. But equally important is this first phase in Bengal, because this essentially seals the deal for either TMC or BJP.
Well, Vanakkam, Akshita, and Namaskar from West Bengal. And you are right, it is the first phase for West Bengal, while all of Tamil Nadu is going to polls. And right off the bat, we urge all the voters to come out in large numbers. Where West Bengal was concerned the last time around was a bumper turnout, about 84%, and similar kind of turnout expected in this election as well. The first phase in West Bengal, viewers, is going to see 152 seats that are going to vote spread across 16 districts. We're going to break it down in terms of right from the north, where the BJP dominated in 2021, where they hope to make gains, at least in the first phase of elections. We're going to break it all down. But usually, what West Bengal elections sadly had been synonymous with is violence, poll violence. And it seems even on the eve of the first phase of elections in West Bengal yesterday, there was an incident in Murshidabad, because Murshidabad is one of the epicenter where this election is concerned. Maximum SIR deletions have taken place in Murshidabad. It has 22 seats, and on one of the seats, Nawada, last night there was a bomb which was detonated, and sheer amount of panic. We have now the Election Commission who's spoken out on that. Let's quickly break that news. We'll cut across to our reporters as well as our guests who are joining us. But word coming in, Murshidabad once again becoming heated just the night before elections. Intense panic spread following a bombing incident in the Shivnagar area of Nawada Assembly constituency. It's alleged that consecutive bombs were detonated on the road to create an atmosphere of fear in the locality. One woman was reportedly injured in the incident. One thing that you will hear from areas like Murshidabad, Birbhum, which has also been the hotbed of political violence during elections, is, will this election go without poll violence? All right, let's quickly listen in to the Chief Polling Officer, Mr. Manoj Kumar.
স্যার অনেক জায়গায় সিসিটিভি খারাপ এরকম বড়জোড়া স্যার হাত আছুড়িয়ায় সিসি ক্যামেরা
ঠিক আছে ওটা ঠিক হয়ে যাবে সেক্টরে আপনার 1.5 লাখ সিসিটিভি লেগা আছে ওখানে সেক্টরে ওখানে আমাদের মেকানিক আছে সব আছে ওরা ইনস্টল হয়ে যাবে কোনো কথা হবে না
স্যার ইভিএম ভর্তি গাড়ি পাওয়া গিয়েছে একটি আইডেন্টিফাই হয়েছে
এটা আমাদের কাছে কোনো ইনফরমেশন নেই
All right, I want to take you through, viewers. That's the latest that is coming in from Murshidabad. You had the election officer there giving out his statement. On the other hand, early this morning, while Akshita, practically all of Tamil Nadu has come out early in the morning. It's a state that rises early, goes to polls early, and you could see that in visuals streaming through the course of the morning. West Bengal is a state which goes in full force to vote, but it takes its time. But having said that, it was Suvendu Adhikari, who is the key campaigner candidate for the Bharatiya Janata Party, who cast his vote earlier this morning. He also is contesting in the second phase. Of course, he's from the seat of Nandigram, and who can forget the historic battle of Nandigram 2021, which he defeated Mamata Banerjee. Mamata Banerjee then subsequently in a by-election from Bhabanipur won the seat. And this time around, you had Suvendu Adhikari, who along with contesting from Nandigram, has taken the poll battle and thrown the gauntlet to Mamata Banerjee from the seat of Bhabanipur. Of course, that is in the second phase. Suvendu Adhikari cast his vote early this morning. I want to take you through here to the 16 districts that are actually going to polls. And it's interesting because this is the area where the BJP hopes to consolidate on how it did in 2021, where Upper North Bengal is concerned. This is where the BJP had made maximum gains, and this is where the BJP hopes to hold on while making gains, especially in districts like Birbhum, in districts like Jhargram. And who can forget Jhargram, because just a few days ago, you had the Prime Minister have some jhalmuri in Jhargram. So areas like districts like Birbhum, Purbi Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, and Paschim Bardhaman is where and Birbhum is where the BJP would be looking to do a lot better, make gains, pick up more seats. The BJP the last time around was at 77, and the TMC, viewers, was at 215. A little more than two-thirds majority was what the TMC had established. The voting percentage difference was about 10%. But if we just look at the 152 seats. Last time around, of course, it was a multi-phased election spanned out over months. This time it has come down to just 2 phases. And in these 2 phases, if we collate the data where the 152 seats spread across 16 districts are going into vote, then if you actually look at it, it could be advantage BJP, at least in the first phase, or the BJP would be hoping to maximize that. Why I actually say it? Well, break it up in these 152 seats in 2021. You had the TMC that stood at 93. 93 seats of these 152 seats were won by the Bharatiya Janata Party. We'll put out the graphics in just a short while. And 59 seats were won by the BJP. Most of these gains came in from the north. Having said that, the vote percentage in these seats was not 10% like the rest of Bengal, but was just about 8%. And if you go all the way from 2021 to 2024, and it's important to point that out, if you extrapolate data on these seats from 2024, you will see that the BJP had made gains. So the TMC in 2021 on these seats stood at 93. Viewers. But if you extrapolate data on how the BJP did in 2024 general elections, then the TMC had leads in 76 seats of 152, the BJP at 64. So the BJP seemingly doing better, had done better in Lok Sabha polls despite of not such a great show across Bengal on these seats than it had done in 2021. So a lot at stake, a lot at play. We're going to try and cut across to our reporters on ground as well as our panelists. But one thing is clear, and that's the biggest question. Will this first phase of West Bengal polling go without any incident of violence? Well, that hasn't quite happened. Yesterday, Murshidabad, like I pointed out, the district which has seen up to 5 lakh deletions in SIR, has 22 seats which had worked in the favor of the TMC. It has over 60% of Muslim population as well. And this was these 22 seats, 20 of them went to the TMC the last time around, just 2 to the BJP. Will the SIR deletions change dynamics? Will there be polarization? Will there be consolidation? A lot at play and a lot at stake. I want to cut across right now to some of our panelists who are joining us this morning. Sandeep Shastri, Vanakam, as well as Namaskar, where West Bengal is concerned. First phase kicking in. This is a phase which is crucial to the BJP. Overall tally, the BJP in 2021, Sandeep Shastri, stood at 77 seats. And if they want to win that this election in West Bengal, they need to practically double that tally. They need to double 77 to reach the halfway mark of 147 and be comfortable with that. And this is the phase where they need to dominate, they need to capitalize, hold on to where they did really well the last time around, which is upper West Bengal, the north of West Bengal, and make gains in the east of West Bengal, areas like Purbi Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, Birbhum, as well as Jhargram, where of course the Prime Minister tasted some jhalmuri.
Preeti, there is no question of doubt that this first phase is very critical for the BJP. Not only do they need to retain the seats they won last time, they need to do better. And this explains the concentration of the Prime Minister in his campaign on these seats. This also explains the fact that the Home Minister has camped himself in West Bengal till the second phase of elections. So how important this first phase is very visible in terms of the way the BJP has taken its campaign forward. This will also be a phase where we will see whether the SIR impact is clearly seen and is visible, because it is believed that in many of the constituencies in this phase, it has been that the revision of the rolls has happened to a very extensive extent. You raised the question of poll violence and the fear of that. I think we have had quite strong language used by all sides in this campaign. And for me, that's another sign of aggression. Violence is one sign of aggression. The other sign of aggression is the language that people used. I don't know if they are linked in any way, but everybody is hoping that today's poll passes off peacefully. But then today is critical for the BJP. Today is critical for the TMC. If it is to also win its fourth term, today would make a huge difference for them.
Mm-hmm. You know, Sandeep Shastri, stay on with me. I'm going to try and bring in Darbar Ganguly, founder, editor-in-chief and MD of Millennium Post. Mr. Ganguly, coming to you in just about 2 minutes, but I'd like to break it down and maybe we can get some graphics going on it. Let's look at the 16 districts that are going into polls in the first phase. 152 seats spread across 16 districts, and you'll have a larger understanding where the BJP did really well. In the hill region, the north of West Bengal, Darjeeling has 5 seats. All 5 were swept by the Bharatiya Janata Party the last time around. Jalpaiguri, out of 7 seats, the BJP had 4 in the bag, 3 to the TMC. Alipurdwar, 5 seats. BJP had swept all 5 seats. Cooch Behar, BJP 7, TMC 2, total of 9 seats in Cooch Behar. So you have areas like Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri, Alipurdwar, Cooch Behar, where the BJP had done phenomenally well. Dakshin Dinajpur, out of, there were 6 seats in total. It was a split even keel between the TMC and the Bharatiya Janata Party, and that is from there is where possibly the trouble started for the BJP. Because then you came into Malda, Muslim-dominated area. You had 12 seats, 8 were taken by the BJP, 4 by the TMC, 4 by the BJP. You come to Murshidabad, 22 seats, 20 were taken by the TMC, just 2 for the BJP. This Malda, Murshidabad are areas which have a high Muslim population. Murshidabad is one district which has, across the country where density of Muslim population is concerned, is the highest in Murshidabad. And no wonder with what the TMC says, maximum voter deletions in West Bengal to the tune of 5 lakhs has taken place in the district of Murshidabad. Let's come down now. This is where the BJP would look to make gains. Birbhum, once a left bastion, then a stronghold of the TMC, and that reverberated in 2021 elections, viewers, where out of 11 seats, the TMC had swept 10 and only 1 went to the BJP. This is one district that the BJP is eyeing, hoping to make gains. Paschim Bardhaman, 6 went to the TMC and 3 to the BJP, total 9 seats. The BJP would be hoping to take 1 or 2 seats from Paschim Bardhaman as well. Purulia, the BJP did well. Purulia is a district which borders Jharkhand, viewers, and has a Hindi-speaking population, less influence of what one would say. The Bengali influence is slightly less. The BJP had done better there in 2021. Out of 9 seats, the BJP had 6 in the bag. The TMC had 3. Bankura, 12 seats. BJP had 8 and the TMC 4. Bankura is again, Purulia, Bankura, Jhargram, areas which have less Muslim population, high Hindu vote bank. And Jhargram, 4 seats, all 4 in 2021 were taken by the TMC. So Jhargram is one area where the BJP is eyeing, and no wonder the Prime Minister also chose, because messaging is so important during politics. Jhargram, to eat some jhal muri. Paschimi Midnapur, this is where once again the BJP from Kharagpur Sadar has fielded Dilip Ghosh. They are hoping to make gains there because in 2021 out of 15 seats, 13 were taken by the TMC and only 2 went to the BJP. Purba Midnipur, this is where the constituency of Nandigram falls. Suvendu Adhikari's bastion, where he defeated Mamata Banerjee the last time. Out of 16 seats, 9 were taken by the TMC, 7 with the BJP. This is also where the BJP would be hoping to make gains. And the reason why I say they'd be hoping to make gains is backed by evidence in terms of how the party did in 2024 polls. And I'll give you an example where Purba Midnipur, which has 16 seats, in 2021, the BJP had won just 7 of those 16 seats, 9 had gone to the TMC. In Lok Sabha elections 2024, 14 of the 16 seats, the BJP was leading. So they're hoping to capitalize on that. The areas Birbhum, Purba Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, Bankura, they need to consolidate. Paschim Bardhaman, Jhargram. This is where the BJP will need to make gains if they want to be a contender come the second phase of election. Mr. Ganguly, Namaskar, what are you looking at closely where the first phase is concerned?
First of all, this is the one election where what you're referring is 21 and 24, both Assembly and Lok Sabha. This time after SIR, all these districts, even I'm saying including Darjeeling, a large number of voter deletion has happened. But one more major component which I'm quite confident this time will appear, that this time people will vote in very large numbers. I foresee a turnout of major turnout in this election, because there is a fear which grips people's mind that if you don't vote this time, then next time your name may be deleted.
True.
Tomorrow there might be questions about your other identity.
Mr. Ganguly, you're quite right, because that's something, I'm sorry to come in, but just anecdotal evidence on ground where we've been speaking to people, even people who found their names on the voter list, irrespective of religion and, any other divide, are wary that if they don't go out and vote this time around, then possibly in a couple of years, 2026 could be a benchmark of whether they find their names in the next list or not. So you are bang on when you say that we will see a bumper turnout this time around, which, Mr. Ganguly, leads me to the next question. Is it advantage the BJP? Because usually, traditional psephology would suggest cliches that the Muslim community, minority community comes out in large numbers and not quite so much where the Hindus are concerned. And when we were speaking to some of the RSS workers in Birbhum, they said last time around in 2021, Hindus polled 62% to 64% in certain areas, and the Muslim population polled a lot more. And they are hoping they'll bridge the gap this time because of this fear.
First of all, I'm not ready to accept a position like Hindu and Muslim. It's a fact that the Muslim-dominated areas always have a large voter turnout. But in other parts of rural Bengal, where other communities also live, majority communities live, they also vote in large numbers. The question is, and also, let me clarify, according to my understanding, even the so-called Muslim-dominated districts also, other than the TMC, there are other contenders also, like Congress, like CPM. So it's not that always that the entire Muslim vote went for TMC. The fact remains that voting percentage would be very critical, and this time we cannot really say that the more voting percentage means it has gone against the government or the existing government. I foresee it's a very interesting results might come out, particularly North Bengal, where BJP has a traditional stronghold for the last several years. And largely, there are certain communities like Rajbongshis, or maybe you can look at tea garden workers. Even though the BJP Lok Sabha MPs were elected, large number of what you call MLAs were elected, their performance has not been very inspiring. And in many cases, the kind of central government assistance which were really promised and also been announced, they were not even implemented at the ground level. So I foresee that there is like the way TMC has to face a lot of incumbency issues, BJP also has to face certain incumbency issues in large parts of North Bengal. Secondly, as I am saying that the voting percentage is going to be very important, because compared to other, as you mentioned, like Murshidabad and few other districts or Malda, these districts like East Midnapur or West Midnapur or even Jhargram, I foresee a huge turnout. And this turnout could be, my feeling is that the Lok Sabha election results, assembly-wise, if we look at, I think that kind of a scenario will likely to emerge again.
It's interesting. So, Mr. Ganguly, if you're saying the Lok Sabha-like scenario would be emerging in Jhargram, Purba Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, and that would practically suggest, viewers, to give you what the Lok Sabha scenario was, despite of 2021 results. These were areas where the BJP in Lok Sabha was doing a lot better than the TMC. And if Mr. Ganguly, who's a senior journalist, says if there's bumper voting in these areas, that would mean that a Lok Sabha-like scenario could emerge in these districts. That would mean things are looking up, at least in the first phase for the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm going to cut across to Rajat Sethi in just about a minute, but viewers, lots of VVIP candidates that are in the fray, and let's take you through some. We'll get the graphics going. Where Nandigram is concerned, that's Purba Midnipur. Like I pointed out earlier, 16 seats. One of the seats is the battleground of Nandigram, where you had Suvendu Adhikari, who defeated Mamata Banerjee in 2021. He's the key candidate, and he is up against Pabitra Kar. It's interesting, Pabitra Kar micromanaged Suvendu Adhikari's campaign from the BJP in 2021, and this time around shifted to the TMC, and now contesting, given a ticket against Suvendu Adhikari. Nandigram has also been a seat where Abhishek Banerjee has been camping in the last couple of months, and it will remains to be seen how the seat of Nandigram actually fares. Just 2 days before the polling, you had the observing officer of Nandigram change to the IG of Assam, something that wasn't taken very well by the TMC. They once again said this was the EC conspiring with the Bharatiya Janata Party to once again, because they still believe that the Nandigram election of 2021 was rigged, and to rig this election. But having said that, so that's one big seat to watch out for. Let me take you now to Kharagpur Sadar. From Purba Midnipur, let's go up to Paschim Midnipur. Paschim Midnipur last time around had done terribly for the BJP, and Paschim Midnipur is where the BJP would be looking to do better. There were 15 seats in the Paschim Midnipur district, and just 2 were picked up by the Bharatiya Janata Party, was swept by the TMC, where 13 seats were concerned. This could be problematic for the TMC as well. If there is polarization, it has less Hindu, it has less Muslim vote, and this is where you have key candidate Kharagpur Sadar, Dilip Ghosh, former president under which the BJP got 77 seats in 2021, come back to state politics. He's come back to his seat, which he had won in 2016, and he is right now standing from Kharagpur Sadar. A lot, viewers. Let me go up now. A lot has been made about Humayun Kabir, former TMC leader who broke away, formed an alliance with AIM. That alliance broke up. TMC released a video as well suggesting that he was a stooge of the BJP and had taken money to fight this election. Humayun Kabir, who's fighting on the pitch of the Babri Masjid model that he's created from Rajinagar, is in the fray. Will he be able to splinter and split the Muslim vote? Well, that remains to be seen. The Muslim vote sizable, where 30% of West Bengal comes into question. We'll get you the other key candidates as well, but I'd like to move on now to our guests. Joining me, Rajat Sethi this morning. Rajat, a very good morning. Namaskar from West Bengal. You know a bit or two of how West Bengal politics functions. Many would suggest, Rajat, that Mamata Banerjee needs a majority of the minority vote, a minority of the majority vote to once again come to power. The minority vote stands at 30%. Will it consolidate? Will it splinter? Remains to be seen. But it would be districts, like we pointed out, like Birbhum, East Midnipur, Purba Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, Jhargram, where the BJP would be looking to make gains.
Good morning, Preeti, and good morning to all your viewers. So, I mean, whatever little bit I have understood about Bengal politics comes from my days when I was studying at Kharagpur. And Kharagpur, the IIT itself is located in West Mednipur, and this entire region, Mednipur. You also have Jhargram, Purulia, Bankura. This entire belt is not just Hindus but also tribals. And you have a whole host of these tribals, like right from Lodas, Kariyas, Mundas are there, Santals are there. These were the set of tribal population. For a very long time, they've been the loyalists for the TMC. And BJP has done a lot of groundwork through its affiliate organizations to actually penetrate into these major tribes in South Bengal. And the effort that has gone in, BJP internally feels that the real decider is going to be South Bengal. It would be these districts where there is a lot of scope for the BJP to actually go out and win. And also, if you go back into the election, the last election, the victory margins for TMC in all of these districts was actually quite narrow. So BJP feels that the groundswell that has been there has stuck with the BJP, plus some more anti-incumbency will help them sway 2 to 3% votes in some of these critical seats. And they will see things starting to flip. Whatever pockets in North Bengal they have as the strong areas will remain strong. And whatever gains will come from South Bengal. This is the reason why this phase of election is absolutely critical for the BJP if they want to carry on and have crossed the victory margin.
Well, you are right there. I've traveled extensively through the districts that we were speaking of, and there is a sense, where the BJP has dug itself in, there is a strong sense of anti-incumbency. You can hear it on ground, the word of Paribartan, and it would remain to be seen on how things really pan out. Has the BJP been able to convince its voters that it can actually come to power? Is what could also possibly define how these districts actually vote. If the last election, and we're not looking at local body polls because that tell a different story, the last election in 2024, and you extrapolate that data is to go by, then in areas that we just pointed out, you have Purba Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, you have Birbhum, you have Jhargram, where the BJP had done a lot better. And I'll give you an example. Purba Midnipur, out of what it was the last time around 16 seats, the BJP had just 7. In Lok Sabha 2024, they were leading in 14. So why these districts become, the crucible of how the BJP will do this election. They really cannot maximize so much up in the north because they actually did so in 2021. They need to hold on to that. And these are the gains that they need to make. And these are the areas where what at least I have seen on ground, what we've seen in terms of campaigning, is a highly polarizing campaign that is being run. A lot of Hindu, khatre mein hai. that kind of narrative. Lots of rallies by Yogi Adityanath of how Hindus need to band together. Something which was defied and defeated, the kind of campaign where you had subaltern regionalism in this area that trumped religion. Will that flip? Will religion now trump subaltern regionalism of the TMC? Listen in to Suvendu Adhikari, who cast his vote from Purba Midnipur on the seat of Nandigram, and we'll bring in Mr. Ganguly and our other panelists back into this conversation.
आंसू 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 बोले हिंदू को बचाइए, हिंदू को बचाइए।
इस बार के चुनाव में
देख लीजिए, उनको पूछिए, मैं तो नहीं बोलूंगा।
नहीं, बिल्कुल ये देख,
वोटर हिंदू माता बहन किस तरीके से रो रहा है, देखिए।
और चुनाव आयोग का रोल आप कैसे देखते हैं? चुनाव आयोग का रोल,
दे आर ट्राइंग,
सिक्योरिटी अच्छा है,
दे आर ट्राइंग। मैं तो नहीं बताऊंगा ये सब बात, वो तो वोटर बता रहा था। एक बहन लेडी, उन्होंने रो रहा था, अचानक मुझे पकड़ लिया, बोले दादा तुम बचाओ। हम लोग दुखी है इस बार, परिवर्तन नहीं होगा।
All right, so that's Suvendu Adhikari, who says he met a woman. The woman, what Suvendu Adhikari translated in Hindi, she said in Bengali to him that it's because of him she continues to be Hindu. And that's a narrative which is being run in districts such as this. It is that if this election, if TMC once again comes back, now this is the narrative run by the Bharatiya Janata Party, then West Bengal will become a Bangladesh. The TMC hoping that subaltern regionalism, Bengali pride, as well as trying to, play a soft card of Hindutva, because in areas like this, Mamata Banerjee has, go to Digha. Last year, the temple in Digha, Jagannath Dham, modelled after the Odisha temple, was opened, and in West Bengal, if I'm not wrong, the first chief minister to sit on a consecration ceremony was Mamata Banerjee. So will it help? Mr. Ganguly, I want to bring you in. In 2021, for someone who studied West Bengal so closely, you could sense that in areas like that, which has a larger Hindu population, than the minority vote, you saw subaltern regionalism trump religion. This time around, it might not be a high decibel election, but the polarizing narrative is astounding that is playing out in this region.
Polarizing narrative is, I can say that Mr. Adhikari is specifically promoting it in a big way. But unfortunately, since I hail from this state, though I don't live here anymore, that or whatever little interactions I have with large section of society, I don't think this Hindu-Muslim narrative is going to be greatly successful. Number one, that, the way they are talking, basically, generally they are talking that Hindus are being prosecuted. First of all, that's not the reality. Number two, in West Bengal, a large section of BJP vote which they get, or they have got earlier also, these were originally left votes. After only 2016, the voting percentage which used to go in favor of the left and Congress, that got shifted to BJP. So even whatever narrative Mr. Adhikari is saying, in the ground, it is the question of large-scale prosecution or violence cannot be proved. There are stray incident definitely has taken place, but in general, people in Bengal are very peace-loving. They are inclusive. They have a long history of living together in a pluralistic society. I don't foresee that. And the kind of statement which he has made, like it was really, I must say, it actually helps the TMC to consolidate the Muslim vote. The kind of words which he has used earlier, like if BJP comes to power, we'll throw away the Muslim MLAs from the assembly or whatever, all kinds of loose statements. Which I should say that Mr. Samik Bhattacharya, who is the state president, he is not using those terms. So I don't foresee this polarizing narrative is going to be really successful.
But that's a two-pronged campaign, Mr. Ganguly, isn't it? of the BJP, because at one end you have the leader of opposition who's as aggressive as a Suvendu Adhikari, who begins his rallies with Jai Shri Ram, and how West Bengal is going to turn into Bangladesh to push that narrative, something that is echoed even by the Home Minister. Look at his rallies in the last couple of days. It's constantly at one end trying to consolidate the Hindu vote. This is a political move of the BJP. And then have somebody like a Shamik Bhattacharya, who's the party president in BJP, a more, liberal face of the BJP, and, the likes of Swapan Das Gupta as well, who've been given the ticket. But yes, I get what you are trying to say. But, has West Bengal changed? That's the question. Because you say West Bengal doesn't think like that. But if Mr. Ganguly, if the BJP does better in these districts, and 2024 election data, if you extrapolate it, seems to suggest that in 2024 they did better. Because overall, if you look at the vote percentage in 2021, the difference was 10%. In areas like that, somewhere down the line, it came in 2024, the BJP had a higher percentage on the leads that it had in constituencies in these districts. So the BJP would be hoping to do better. But I'll come back to you on this point. I want to bring in Rajat Sethi. If we still have Sandeep Shastri, I don't know, do let me know. And I want to bring in Rajat Sethi into this. Rajat Sethi, the BJP already stands... Okay, we have Sandeep Shastri. Mr. Shastri, I'll come to you right after Rajat. The BJP, Rajat, already has close to about 40%, 38.3% vote share in 2021. One can safely say that nearly all of it has come from the Hindu vote. There's 70% Hindu population in the state of West Bengal. If you do the arithmetic, the BJP has got 57% of the Hindu vote. The campaign that is being run by the BJP clearly is pandering to this particular section, which is the Hindu vote. To better 57% is... I won't say improbable, but I won't say impossible, but it's not easy, because then the BJP would practically need all of that. 60%, over 60% of that vote from the Hindu community to move from 77, nearly double that figure, to reach the halfway mark.
That is right, Preeti. I think the studio rooms are hearing a lot of divisive and polarizing narrative on religious lines. But on the ground, please understand that the BJP has undergone a major strategic shifts in terms of addressing anti-incumbency in the state. I can tell you, when Adhikari issue was unfolding, in those days, the typical base of TMC, the middle-class Bengali faces of the TMC, so many families I know of were weeping. They used to cry. They used to form human chains. The kind of disgruntlement that was there against the sitting chief minister and the government was absolutely acute. You cannot sort of undo the damage that case had done to the credibility, personal credibility of Mamata Banerjee and also the TMC. Some of that will still stick around even till date. Also understand that it is anti-incumbency.
Okay, Rajat, we need to go into a breaking news, and I'm going to come right back to you. I hear you on what you're saying. It's not just the polarizing campaign, but the polarizing campaign is also a big part of the multi-layered campaign that the BJP has mounted this time. Yes, there is anti-incumbency in these areas, especially against what some feel local leadership of the TMC, not so much against Mamata Banerjee. Yes, there are other factors at play as well, but there is also a high voltage polarizing campaign. Multiple layers to it. I want to cut across to news break. It seems the first phase of polling, West Bengal is coming out in strong numbers. What is expected is that there will be bumper voting this time around, and West Bengal has crossed the 18% mark at 9 a.m. itself. Nearly 19% West Bengal has already voted, and it's only 9 a.m. It does get hot later. A lot of people would be coming in to cast their vote and go back. Afternoons are really hot, really oppressive. Ask the teams who are on ground reporting this election. But 18.76% early this morning. Last time around, the entire voting turnout across all phases was about 85%. And Sandeep Shastri, impressive. First phase, 9 a.m. West Bengal already polling close to 19%.
Preeti, this clearly shows the level of intensity of interest in the election. But as we have seen, there is no empirical evidence to show that high voter turnout supports the incumbent or supports the challenger. It just shows greater excitement. I think it just shows that various parties have been able to mobilize their supporters to go out and vote. And for democracy, that's a great sign. But I don't think it will help
we
us.
lost Sandeep.
It will not help us project who is it likely to support.
Sandeep Shastri, I don't know. I think there's a problem with your audio. Or maybe I can't hear you. I need to make your point, sir. I believe, make your point.
What I'm saying is there is no empirical evidence to show that higher voter turnout supports the challenger or the incumbent. That we will have to wait for next month, first week. But it clearly shows greater interest in coming out and voting. And as our co-panelist just now said, it may be a reflection of the SIR exercise that people say we must vote in order to ensure that our name continues. But I think it's a good sign for a healthy democracy that there is this interest in voting and such a high voter turnout.
You're bang on. You're very correct with what you just said, because there is a sense in the people here, irrespective of which side of the political divide that they stand, with how the SIR has unfolded in West Bengal, the fact that if they don't go out and vote, that could mean in years to come that what if 2026 is used as a benchmark for them finding their names on the voter list or not. I'm going to, stay on with me. I'm going to come right back to all our panelists. I want to cut across to my colleague Akshita. Akshita, I believe news coming in from Tamil Nadu.
That's right. Just want to reflect the latest voter turnout from Tamil Nadu as well, Preeti. Yeah. Not doing as well as Bengal, but as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, bumper voting in the first 2 hours. 17% voter turnout in Tamil Nadu till 9 a.m. 17.69%. So it actually suggests that that's about 18%. That's the voter turnout right now in Tamil Nadu in just 2 hours. I did highlight that if in 2021 the voter turnout was about 72%, and obviously Tamil Nadu can do way better than that, the SIR impact will mean that you will see a healthier voter turnout this time as far as percentages go. But 17.69%, I'd say about 80%, 18% have already come out to cast their vote. Chennai, Tamil Nadu is a state that wakes up early, and so from 7 a.m. we've been reporting on massive queues, long queues that have been seen at these polling booths, people choosing to come out early in the morning, beat the summer heat and cast their vote. 18% right up till 9 a.m. Let's go across to the next big breaking news that's coming in. This is now Vijay, who's written to the Election Commission seeking and putting out a plea for extending voting hours. Has in fact cited the images that have come in overnight of the chaos at bus stations, the lack of buses for people to go to their native and hometowns, to say extend polling hours by 2 more hours, help stranded voters. There's been a transport collapse. He says a transport collapse has led to voters not being able to cast their vote right now, and so he's asked the Election Commission to extend that time by 2 more hours. He says deploy emergency transport and then ensure that voting doesn't end as it does at 6 p.m. but rather at 8 p.m. This is as a result of the images you see on your screens from through the night bus stands in Tamil Nadu. These are images from Coimbatore, but across Tamil Nadu, similar pictures of crowds, hundreds, thousands of them waiting to board buses, buses not plying, and so many of them stuck, unable to get to their natives on time to cast their vote. Vijay has referred to this to say there's been a complete transport collapse on polling day, and so has asked the Election Commission to immediately intervene, provide the infrastructure, provide the transport, and also extend voting hours. We'll have to see how the Election Commission chooses to respond, but this is quickly turning into a political controversy because there's been constant narrative setting by the TVK, by the AIADMK, that voters are not being allowed by the administration to reach their natives, and therefore they're not being allowed to vote because the DMK is fearful of this leading to a verdict that is not in their favor. These are political allegations. But Vijay, carrying forward that narrative, has now written to the Election Commission seeking an extension of polling hours by 2 more hours, and second, that transport be provided to all the people who are stranded and unable to get back to their natives. What we'll also do is connect with our reporters to give you a sense of whether now you've got buses plying, whether people have been able to board these buses, what's the situation at these bus stands right now. But I can tell you that in the last 2 hours in Tamil Nadu, there has been a healthy voter turnout of 18%. If that's anything to go by, we are going to be seeing that 72% mark of 2021 being beaten. That number will go up. But what about the scores of people who struggle to get to their native? There have been massive traffic jams that have been reported in Chennai city itself, of people trying to leave the city, people trying to enter the city through the night, early into the morning. All roads, highways have been packed. And then the bus stations looking like this. The railway stations packed right now. Buses struggling, many drivers refusing to ply because of the sheer number of people who've gathered. You can read into that however you will. But the reality is that now Vijay has said the Election Commission must step in, extend voting hours, saying that there's been a transport collapse. This is the big breaking news that's coming in right now of Vijay alleging that there's been a transport collapse on polling day and that this is an assault on the right to vote. In a detailed letter that he shot off to the Election Commission, you've got Vijay now going ahead and saying that the EC must take note of this. He said, and I quote, "I'm writing to you in a state of deep concern and indignation over the complete transport paralysis and that thousands of voters are stranded at bus terminals in Chennai." All of those details, let's also focus on the images on your screens right now of all of the big faces who've come out to cast their vote. On your screens, you've got Vijay, you've got Rajinikanth, Ajit, Vikram, Anirudh, Sivakarthikeyan, Sarath Kumar, all who've come out to cast their vote. We're going to put the focus not so much on Ranjit, we're going to put the focus on Vijay right now because as he's alleged now that there is a collapse of the transport infrastructure in Tamil Nadu on polling day, he's also shot off a letter to the Election Commission just about an hour after he came out to cast his vote in absolute chaos and madness that played out at that polling booth in Chennai. So already on polling day, controversy that's taken center stage right now with Vijay seeking an extension of polling hours. Will that actually happen? Remains to be seen. The Election Commission's response is awaited. Let's also get you a reaction that came in from Chief Minister Stalin just some time ago, where he urged people to come out and vote in large numbers. Chief Minister Stalin with his family came out to cast his vote at the SIAT College in Chennai. We'll be getting you that reaction in just a bit and a roundup of all that's playing out in Tamil Nadu. From 7 a.m. in the morning, you've had some of the biggest faces in the state come out to cast their vote. Healthy voter turnout of 18% so far. So it looks like we're on track to beat that 72% voter turnout in 2021. Tamil Nadu can do way better than that. So come on, if you live in Tamil Nadu, go out, cast your vote, as we leave you with these images of actor Dhanush having cast his vote as well. So quite a bit of craze over the stars, the superstars, as they come out to exercise their franchise. They're leading by example. So we hope every one of you watching this broadcast from Tamil Nadu, you've cast your vote or you're about to. We're slipping into a short break. We'll be right back.
To make. And these are the areas where what at least I have seen on ground, what we've seen in terms of campaigning, is a highly polarizing campaign that is being run. A lot in the East or West Bengal areas like Purbi Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, Birbhum, as well as Jhargram, where of course the Prime Minister tasted some jhalmuri.
Preeti, there is no question of doubt that this first phase is very critical for the BJP. Not only do they need to retain the seats they won last time, they need to do better. And this explains the concentration of the Prime Minister in his campaign on these seats. This also explains the fact that the Home Minister has camped himself in West Bengal till the second phase of elections. So how important this first phase is very visible in terms of the way the BJP has taken its campaign forward. This will also be a phase where we will see whether the SIR impact is clearly seen and is visible, because it is believed that in many of the constituencies in this phase, it has been that the revision of the rolls has happened to a very extensive extent. You raised the question of poll violence and the fear of that. I think we have had quite strong language used by all sides in this campaign. And for me, that's another sign of aggression. Violence is one sign of aggression. The other sign of aggression is the language that people used. I don't know if they are linked in any way, but everybody is hoping that today's poll passes off peacefully. But then today is critical for the BJP. Today is critical for the TMC. If it is to also win its fourth term, today would make a huge difference for them.
You know, Sandeep Shastri, stay on with me. I'm going to try and bring in Darbar Ganguly, founder, editor-in-chief and MD of Millennium Post. Mr. Ganguly, coming to you in just about 2 minutes, but I'd like to break it down and maybe we can get some graphics going on it. Let's look at the 16 districts that are going into polls in the first phase. 152 seats spread across 16 districts, and you'll have a larger understanding where the BJP did really well. In the hill region, the north of West Bengal, Darjeeling has 5 seats. All 5 were swept by the Bharatiya Janata Party the last time around. Jalpaiguri, out of 7 seats, the BJP had 4 in the bag, 3 to the TMC. Alipurdwar, 5 seats. BJP had swept all 5 seats. Cooch Behar, BJP 7, TMC 2, total of 9 seats in Cooch Behar. So you have areas like Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri, Alipurdwar, Cooch Behar, where the BJP had done phenomenally well. Dakshin Dinajpur, out of, there were 6 seats in total. It was a split even keel between the TMC and the Bharatiya Janata Party, and that is from there is where possibly the trouble started for the BJP. Because then you came into Malda, Muslim-dominated area. You had 12 seats, 8 were taken by the BJP, 4 by the TMC, 4 by the BJP. You come to Murshidabad, 22 seats, 20 were taken by the TMC, just 2 for the BJP. This Malda, Murshidabad are areas which have a high Muslim population. Murshidabad is one district which has, across the country where density of Muslim population is concerned, is the highest in Murshidabad. And no wonder with what the TMC says, maximum voter deletions in West Bengal to the tune of 5 lakhs has taken place in the district of Murshidabad. Let's come down now. This is where the BJP would look to make gains. Birbhum, once a left bastion, then a stronghold of the TMC, and that reverberated in 2021 elections, viewers, where out of 11 seats, the TMC had swept 10 and only 1 went to the BJP. This is one district that the BJP is eyeing, hoping to make gains. Paschim Bardhaman, 6 went to the TMC and 3 to the BJP, total 9 seats. The BJP would be hoping to take 1 or 2 seats from Paschim Bardhaman as well. Purulia, the BJP did well. Purulia is a district which borders Jharkhand, viewers, and has a Hindi-speaking population, less influence of what one would say. The Bengali influence is slightly less. The BJP had done better there in 2021. Out of 9 seats, the BJP had 6 in the bag. The TMC had 3. Bankura, 12 seats. BJP had 8 and the TMC 4. Bankura is again, Purulia, Bankura, Jhargram, areas which have less Muslim population, high Hindu vote bank. And Jhargram, 4 seats, all 4 in 2021 were taken by the TMC. So Jhargram is one area where the BJP is eyeing, and no wonder the Prime Minister also chose, because messaging is so important during politics. Jhargram, to eat some jhal muri. Paschimi Midnapur, this is where once again the BJP from Kharagpur Sadar has fielded Dilip Ghosh. They are hoping to make gains there, because in 2021 out of 15 seats, 13 were taken by the TMC and only 2 went to to the BJP. Purba Midnipur, this is where the constituency of Nandigram falls. Suvendu Adhikari's bastion, where he defeated Mamata Banerjee the last time. Out of 16 seats, 9 were taken by the TMC, 7 with the BJP. This is also where the BJP would be hoping to make gains. And the reason why I say they'd be hoping to make gains is backed by evidence in terms of how the party did in 2024 polls. And I'll give you an example where Purba Midnipur, which has 16 seats, in 2021, the BJP had won just 7 of those 16 seats, 9 had gone to the TMC. In Lok Sabha elections 2024, 14 of the 16 seats, the BJP was leading. So they're hoping to capitalize on that. The areas Birbhum, Purba Midnipur, Paschim Midnipur, Bankura, they need to consolidate. Paschim Bardhaman, Jhargra. This is where the BJP will need to make gains if they want to be a contender come the second phase of election. Mr. Ganguly, Namaskar, what are you looking at closely where the first phase is concerned?
First of all, this is the one election where what you're referring is 21 and 24, both Assembly and Lok Sabha. This time after SIR, all these districts, even I'm saying including Darjeeling, a large number of voter deletion has happened. But one more major component which I'm quite confident this time will appear, that this time people will vote in very large numbers. I foresee a turnout of major turnout in this election, because there is a fear which grips people's mind that if you don't vote this time, then next time your name may be deleted.
True.
Tomorrow there might be questions about your other identity.
Mr. Ganguly, you're quite right, because that's something, I'm sorry to come in, but just anecdotal evidence on ground where we've been speaking to people, even people who found their names on the voter list, irrespective of religion and, any other divide, are wary that if they don't go out and vote this time around, then possibly in a couple of years, 2026 could be a benchmark of whether they find their names in the next list or not. So you are bang on when you say that we will see a bumper turnout this time around, which, Mr. Ganguly, leads me to the next question. Is it advantage the BJP? Because usually, traditional psephology would suggest cliches that the Muslim community, minority community comes out in large numbers and not quite so much where the Hindus are concerned. And when we were speaking to some of the RSS workers in Birbhum, they said last time around in 2021, Hindus polled 62% to 64% in certain areas, and the Muslim population polled a lot more. And they are hoping they'll bridge the gap this time because of this fear.
First of all, I'm not ready to accept a position like Hindu and Muslim. It's a fact that Muslim-dominated areas always have a large voter turnout. But in other parts of rural Bengal, where other communities also live, majority communities live, they also vote in large numbers. The question is, and also, let me clarify, according to my understanding, even the so-called Muslim-dominated districts also, other than the TMC, there are other contenders also, like Congress, like CPM. So it's not that always that the entire Muslim vote went for TMC. The fact remains that voting percentage would be very critical. And this time, we cannot really say that the more voting percentage means it has gone against the government or the existing government. I foresee it's a very interesting results might come out, particularly North Bengal, where BJP has a traditional stronghold for the last several years. And largely, there are certain communities like Rajbongshis, or maybe you can look at tea garden workers. Even though the BJP Lok Sabha MPs were elected, large number of what you call MLAs were elected, their performance has not been very inspiring. And in many cases, the kind of central government assistance which were really promised and also been announced, they were not even implemented at the ground level. So I foresee that there is like the way TMC has to face a lot of incumbency issues, BJP also has to face certain incumbency issues in large parts of North Bengal. Secondly, as I'm saying, that the voting percentage is going to be very important, because compared to other, as you mentioned, like Murshidabad and few other districts or Malda, this districts like East Midnapur or West Midnapur or even Jhargram, I foresee a huge turnout. And this turnout could be
a very good morning, Vanakkam, for all our viewers in Tamil Nadu and all the voters who are going out to cast their vote in the single-phase election in Tamil Nadu. And Namaskar from West Bengal. I come to you from the stunning Prinsep Ghat in West Bengal. The first phase of polling in West Bengal has kicked in for 152 seats. We're going to get you the ringside view of this election, where West Bengal polls in the first phase and all of Tamil Nadu going into vote. My colleague Akshita as well getting us the latest from Tamil Nadu. But first up, before we break it down, and you do know this is your one-stop destination for everything election related. But before we get into the latest coming in from both states, allow me to take you through the headlines. Bumper voting in Tamil Nadu in first 2 hours, 17% voter turnout in Tamil Nadu till 9 a.m. Voters out in big numbers to beat the sweltering heat. Chief Minister Stalin, top superstars cast early morning votes. Healthy voting in Bengal, bumper voting in the first 2 hours itself. Bengal passes 18% voter turnout till 9 a.m. Bengal phase 1 polling till now largely peaceful, sporadic violence and attacks from 2 West Bengal districts. Vijay casts his vote in Chennai. Massive crowds as Vijay votes. Iron railing uprooted by fan frenzy. Vijay's big extend voting hours plea says hold polls till 8 p.m. Transportation problem in Tamil Nadu, he says. Suvendu casts his vote early this morning in Nandigram, says Hindu in Bengal are crying, claims Hindu woman gave him Hindus SOS plea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from West Bengal, let's shift focus briefly to the state of Tamil Nadu. Brisk voting there, already recorded 17% till 9 a.m. I want to cut across to my colleague Shibi Mol joining us from Coimbatore, where Annamalai is going in to cast his vote. Over to you, Shibi.
Preeti, Annamalai had just cast his vote and he's out, out of the polling booth right now. He's talking to media here. As you can see, he's addressing the large crowd of media that have gathered here. This is one election where we're seeing him not contesting but leading the campaign for the BJP across the state. He has travelled across the state, taking out his campaign. We've heard his issues.
Stay with me. I'm going to come right back to you. Let's listen in to Annamalai.
விஜய் அவர்கள் இதே ட்ரெஸ் கோட போடுறாங்க, நிறைய பேர் போடுறாங்க. நான் என்னோட போலீஸ்ல இருந்து வெளியே வந்ததுக்காக அது எப்பவுமே கூட இருக்கணும், காக்கி இருக்கணுங்கிறக்காக பெரும்பாலும் 9 out of 10 டைம்ஸ் வந்து பிரவுன் பேண்ட் தான் அதிகமாக நான் பயன்படுத்துறேங்கன்னா இதுக்கும் வேற எந்த குறியீட்டுக்கும் சம்பந்தம் இல்லை. என்னுடைய ஜனநாயக கடமையை நான் சரியா செஞ்சுட்டு வந்திருக்கேன். அப்படியாங்கண்ணா? அண்ணா நீங்க காப்பை கூட கேட்டா எப்படிங்கண்ணே? எப்பவுமே போட்டிருக்கேன். புதுசா என்னை தயவு செஞ்சு இந்த பக்கம் அந்த பக்கம் சேர்த்திடாதீங்க. நான் ஒரே பக்கம் தான் இருக்கேன், சரியான பக்கம் தான் இருக்கேன், நியாயமான பக்கத்துல தான் இருக்கேன். ஜனநாயக படுகொலை அப்படிங்கிற விஷயத்த சொல்றாங்க சார். பணம் பட்டுவாடா, இலவச பரிசு பொருள், தன்னுடைய கொள்கை சொல்லி ஓட்டு கேட்காம, தன்னுடைய திட்டங்களை சொல்லி கேட்காம, இப்படி ஒரு பெரிய அதான் நீங்களே காட்டுறீங்களே, பத்திரிகை நண்பர்கள் காட்டுறீங்களே, உதயசூரியன் சின்னத்தை காட்டுறீங்க, QR கோட காட்டுறீங்க. கண்டிப்பா இந்த முறை தேர்தல் ஆணையம் இன்னும் சிறப்பாக செய்திருக்க வேண்டும் என்பது என்னுடைய கருத்துல, மக்களுடைய கருத்து. கடைசி 2-3 நாட்கள் விரும்பத்தகாத எத்தனையோ செயல்கள் தமிழ்நாடு முழுவதும் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, குறிப்பாக திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகம். அது இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பேசி பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. இன்னைக்கு சாயந்தரத்துக்குள்ள எல்லாரும் ஓட்டு போறவங்கள ஓட்டு போடணும், மக்கள் இதெல்லாம் அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணி வாக்களிப்பார்கள் என்று முழுமையாக நம்புகின்றோம். ஆனா முடிவு ஆனால் நானும் அம்மன் அர்ஜுன் அவங்க சொன்னதில் நானும் உடன்படுறேன். ஏன்னா அவ்வளோ பணம் கொடுத்து ப்ராசஸ் VTR ஆனதுக்கப்புறம் அது நியாயமான தேர்தலாக இருக்குமா அப்படிங்கிற சந்தேகம் எனக்கு இருக்குது. ஆனால் தேர்தல் ஆணையம் ஏதோ ஒரு காரணத்திற்காக தமிழ்நாட்டில் எல்லா இடத்திலும் 234 தொகுதியில் நடத்துகிறாங்க. வாக்காளர்கள் நம்புவோம், எல்லாம் மனசாட்சிப்படி நியாயமான முறையில் வாக்களிப்பாங்கன்னு வாக்காளர் பெருமக்களை நம்புவோம். நன்றிங்கண்ணா. ஜனநாயகம் ஜெயிக்குமண்ணா. பணமெல்லாம் எப்போ ஜெயிக்காது, ஜனநாயகம் ஜெயிக்கும். மக்கள் எல்லாம் சரியா போய் ஓட்டு போட்டு வந்துட்டீங்கன்னா எல்லாரும் ஜெயிச்சிருவாங்க, நல்லவங்க ஜெயிப்பாங்க. அண்ணே இந்திரவியா அண்ணே நல்ல இதில் நல்ல அண்ணா இன்னைக்கு நான் எந்த கேம்பெயினும் பேசக்கூடாதுங்கன்னா தவறாக போயிடும், மற்றவங்க பண்ணுற தப்ப நான் பண்ண மாட்டேன். ஜனநாயக கடமை இன்னைக்கு செய்யுங்க. நான் நேற்று முன்தினம் வரை என்ன பேசிக்கிட்டு இருந்தனோ தமிழகத்தில் அது நிச்சயமா நடக்கும்.
Do the responsibility of citizen.
அண்ணா இதில் பிரச்சனை என்ன, தேர்தல் ஆணையத்தில் திரும்ப இன்வால்வ் பண்றவங்க அரசு அதிகாரிகள், அது குறிப்பாக லோக்கல் கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்டாஃப். இது ஒரு பெரிய பிரச்சனை. தேர்தல் ஆணையமாக இருந்தாலும் கூட கீழே இருக்கக்கூடிய அதிகாரிகள் எல்லாமே லோக்கலில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அதிகாரிகள், அரசு பொறுப்பில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அதிகாரிகள். அவங்க நான் குறை சொல்ல, தேர்தல் ஆணையம் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் இந்த ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன் ஆஃப் பீப்புள் ஆக்டை கடுமையாக அவங்க வந்து பிரயோகம் பண்ணணும். ஆனால் அதை பண்ண தவறிட்டாங்கன்னு தான் என்னுடைய தாழ்மையான கருத்து, வேண்டுகோள் கூட. அதே நேரத்தில் தேர்தலுக்கு முன்பே எல்லாம் நடந்துருச்சு. மாடல் கோட் ஆஃப் கான்டாக்ட் வர்றதுக்கு முன்னாடியே செய்ய வேண்டியதெல்லாம் செஞ்சுட்டாங்க. அதை தேர்தல் ஆணையம் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் விழிப்புணர்வோடு மானிட்டர் பண்ணியிருக்கணும். பல இடத்துல நம்ம கம்ப்ளைண்ட் கொடுத்து கூட ஆக்ஷன் இல்லை. ஆனால் இந்த முறை தமிழகத்தை பொறுத்தவரை தேர்தல் ஆணையம் நிறைய பாடங்களை கற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். வாக்காளர் பெருமக்கள் மனசாட்சியோடு வாக்களிப்பார்கள் என்று நம்புகிறோம். நன்றிங்க. என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா என்ன
people will listen to their conscience and cast their vote.
அண்ணே நான் வந்து தேர்தலை பொறுத்தவரை அது வாக்காளர் பெருமக்கள் விட்டுறேன். நாம் ஒரு ஜனநாயகத்தில் சில பேர் பணம் கொடுக்குறாங்க, கொடுக்கல, நியாயமான முறையில் ஓட்டு போடுறாங்க. எல்லோரையும் இந்த நேரத்தில் நாம் கேட்டுக்கொள்வது நியாயமான மனசாட்சி.
Some people are giving money, some people are not.
நன்றிங்கண்ணா. அப்படி ஆங்கிலம் வாங்கண்ணா.
What I want to tell people is that cast your vote based on your conscience. Whoever it is, cast your vote based on your conscience.
பார்த்துப்போம் எல்லாரும் பார்த்துப்போம். தலைவா பார்த்துப்போம். சாரி பார்த்துப்போம்.
All right, Annamalai, right after casting his ballot in Coimbatore, speaking to the press, urging people to come out in large voters. He had also asked voters, especially the young voters who seemingly, what anecdotal evidence seems to suggest, drifting towards Vijay. Says, don't be impulsive with your vote, cast the right vote, make a difference. Right now, Annamalai coming out, speaking to the press. All of this at a time where rumors swirling that he could be sent to the Rajya Sabha as well. Leading the campaign for the BJP, a part of the BJP machinery where the NDA alliance with AIADMK is concerned in the state of Tamil Nadu. My colleague Shibi Mole joins us. Shibi, can you take us through on what Annamalai said after he cast his vote?
Well, he was addressing
very right choice, and the right choice will benefit the people of the I only urge all our citizens to come out and cast their democratic duty. Hot day, I'm not saying it is a very easy day, and a lot of elders have seen, and the election commission has arranged chats for them, what is the